We are live.
Perfect.
We'll probably wait for some people to start watching and then we'll
We'll go from there.
start talking. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, there's one guy. Hello, guy.
Aus diesem Sphinx, Sieden. Hi, was magst du heute? Hey. Okay, we got enough people. All right, go ahead and kind of lay out what we're going to be talking about slash doing or whatever tonight.
All right. Well, we'll start off by saying hello, everybody. This stream's going to kind of continue where we left off from the last stream. So if you happen to be fortunate enough to see the last stream, or if you haven't, it'll be a continuation of the last one that is on Mike's channel if you would like to go back and rewatch it. That was on kind of the birth of modern combat helmets during World War One. This live stream is going to be primarily on the further development of those helmets and some kind of new designs that came into the work, some improvements on those designs and everything during the interwar period. So, and I've got quite a lot of examples here to show you guys. Some kind of new plays on designs as well as some re-innovations of old designs.
Yep, and I've probably got more than I think, but like I was telling Devin kind of before we started, as far as my knowledge goes, this is like the interwar years are kind of years that I'm not super familiar with, like worldwide. There's the German helmets, obviously, the American helmets, but the British, I even don't know exactly the years when they went from the Mark One to the Mark Two, et cetera, et cetera. So this will be very interesting. I might actually have some examples too once we start going and talking, and I'll
Yeah,
I'll definitely show them. If I
yeah.
kind of
If you
remember,
if you
but
jog your memory, yeah,
yeah, it's just one of those days. It's like the snow and everything, and just was like, nope, I'm done. So
yeah. I don't blame you.
yeah,
It'll stop in July.
yeah. I mean, hopefully before the end of August.
So, all right. Well, we'll start off probably as kind of a refresher from the last one. So, if you don't know, during World War One, there was basically three kind of designs introduced. That would be the French M15 Adrian, the British M16 Brody, and the German M16 Stahlhelm. Those were kind of the three main designs, and those would go on to heavily influence designs of the very late World War One. I say very late World War One is roped into this category of post war because a lot of these kind of designs didn't really see enough. Some of the examples I have didn't really see enough action to be considered World War One era helmets. Like I have the Solberg here. Those weren't really made in large enough numbers to really see any use during the war. They did, but not in really a grand enough scale to be considered a mass issued helmet. But we got some examples that I have here to kind of show how the design has changed just after the war to, right up until World War II. A lot of these were used, and some even through World War II. So this was kind of the time where instead of just trying to pump shit out as fast as possible, this is where a lot of testing came into play and designs kind of evolved to go with that. How war was kind of shifting at the end of World War One from kind of a stagnant, foe versus foe to more of a mobile warfare that you kind of see um, at the beginning of World War Two. So at the end of World War One is basically a pre-World War Two as far as tactics go. You kind of see the Germans start to pioneer the Blitzkrieg tactics at the end of World War One with Operation Michael and stuff like that. And you see better orchestration between artillery and infantry and tanks and all this other stuff. You see that at the end of World War One, and that plays a big pivotal role in World War
Like
Two.
last 6 months, that's the
Yeah,
thing. That's the key right there. Is it didn't it didn't like happen long enough for everyone to realize, okay, this is actually the helmet design we need. Okay, this is the tactics and all that stuff. It was like 6 months, and then by the time they were like, wow, okay, we've seen some things that we've repeated and are working, bam, it was done.
yes.
So yeah.
So, but like, so now that the World War One is over in this period, you now see countries testing all these different designs, everything like that, seeing how the war changed, how their helmet designs need to change to suit this new type of warfare, and various things like that. You also see the quality go up for the most part because they're not trying to churn shit out as fast as possible. So, One example where you can see that is, I'll get them both here, is you can see the kind of French M15 Adrian. This isn't actually a French one. This is an Italian one. You can tell by the rivets that go around the edge. So, because rather than using the little clips, they riveted the liner in place. So, but it's the same exact shell. You can see the four parts: the bill here, the bill here. You can see the two rivets right here holding it together, and then the shell and the comb. They're all separate pieces, and that created a very kind of flimsy helmet, because that's an area where stuff is more likely to fail than if it was all in one piece. And so in 1926, the French went from this to this, where they made everything one piece. And you can see it's just the comb, and then the two brims and the dome are all one piece now. So it's a two-piece design when they changed the liner. So the liner now has these paddles that pull the liner away from the shell to reduce that kind of impact trauma, which is something that they learned in World War I with debris hitting them and everything like that. It's better to have a little bit of a cushion, and instead of actually putting padding there, they just use air and a kind of flat spring in the form of this paddle. So that's kind of the first country to change their design for the most part into this new style of warfare. They learned from their previous design and improved upon it. And that's how you got the M26 Adrian here from the M15 Adrian. Not much changed shape-wise because they deemed that that was good enough, but you see that they changed the liner style and the construction.
Now, wait a second. You said that was an M15?
Yeah.
No, it's not. That is something else. That's different because an M15 doesn't have all those holes drilled in the sides.
That's what I said. It's an Italian one. It's an Italian version of the M15.
I have an Italian one too. It doesn't have that. What's up with that?
This is one that was made for Italy by France, and they just modified their liner attachment style.
Oh, okay.
You can
so
tell
I totally
just
it's
blue on the inside. It's that dark blue, and then
okay.
they painted
Okay, because did you say that or did I just miss that?
No, I said that it was an Italian one. Yeah, because you could tell by all the rivet holes.
Right. Yeah, I just thought you meant like Italian, the M16, like I
No,
had.
no.
It's
You have the one that they made.
Yeah, the one that doesn't have the rivets on.
But because they couldn't make them fast enough, France gave a lot of them away.
Right. So I knew they gave them that, but like, so that would be a telltale sign of like a French-made shell that was in Italian service is like the French riveted shell, green, and then the little holes in it because they wanted to adopt their liner.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, interesting.
And you could always tell that an Adrian was made in France because of the color. The ones that they sent to Russia, the ones that they sent to everything. Oftentimes, underneath the liner, there'll still be that horizon blue. This happens to be the kind of later war, darker horizon blue color. So you could tell this one was made in France just because no matter what, they painted them before they sent them over because it helped protect the helmet from weather. And then oftentimes when they would get there, the Russians, and in this case, the Italians, would just paint over them in their colors.
Yep.
So, but, and so the next design iteration you kind of see is the British. The British actually and the Americans adopted the Brodie helmet, and the British continued with the Mark I Brodie up until the 30s, and even continued to use them with home guards through World War II, actually, because it worked. It's something, if it's going to be somebody who's not going to necessarily be frontline helmet, you don't need to have them have the frontline creme de la creme stuff, which is saving you money, especially when the British are getting hosed by submarine warfare and everything like that. It's good to save some money. So, but you see design changes, especially with like the Americans and the British. They go to a different liner, same shell, kind of like the French, but they go to a different liner. This happens to be the M1917A1 Kelly helmet. Now, there weren't any Kelly helmet shells manufactured. They were all updated M1917 shells. So you could tell the M1917A1 from an original pattern 1917. On the outside, by this canvas chin strap, 1917 had a leather chin strap. Canvas became the primary thing to use because after World War I, America basically just transitioned everything to canvas, cotton canvas. They were the world's foremost producer of cotton for the better part of the 19th and 20th century. So that's what they had available, and it was cheaper basically than leather, a couple cents here and there, not a whole lot. but it was cheaper to manufacture and easier to manufacture than having to have two separate materials. They could just make everything out of cotton. So that's why you see all their webbing through World War II and through the interwar period, and even in World War I, all made out of cotton, because they were the mass producers of cotton, and that's why they used it. So, but you see the liner upgrade. The liner is now no longer that wool crown pad. It's no longer one piece. The big problem with the Mark I Brody and the M1917 was if the liner was shot, you had to junk the whole helmet because it was all one piece. This is now a removable liner. It is a big piece of leather. This is all one piece here. And it's wrapped around a aluminum frame that is held in place by a brass dome nut up here. So one screw holds this whole helmet together. And that's good because if the liner wears out, you don't need to junk the whole thing or send it into an armor. It can be replaced in the field, which is a cost-saving measure again. So you see, once again, you see the design change to suit the country's needs for the most part. Simplifications, updates, and everything like that. So this is one of the things. The British did the same thing, basically. We're now, they, instead of having that oilcloth and wool liner and chin strap that's, you know, all together, they made the liner out of oilcloth and foam pads, and they made it removable. So rather than having to junk the whole helmet, you could just replace the liner if the liner got damaged, which helped out in the long run as far as cost-saving measures, because now the war is over, it's time to develop some ways to save some money, test some more stuff, and their liner also became a little bit better because it pulled away from the shell. Same thing as this. That aluminum frame gives this kind of some crumple room, and it keeps your head away from the shell, because the shell is going to take the impact, and then it has space to slow down before it reaches your head if it gets hit in an impact. So it's actually better ballistically than the 1917 and the Mark I Brody. And then, here's another version of the Adrian. There's basically 3 designs after World War I. The French.
Is that our whip? Why do you have our whip on one of your helmets? Why do you have our whip on one of your helmets?
It's just the braided chin strap.
Oh, it looked like our whip for a second. Oops, sorry.
So, but this is basically another French design. This is a Russian domestically produced Adrian. It's called Solberg, because it has a much smaller comb on the top, and it's all one piece. And this actually was born towards the end of World War I. So in 1917, actually, not very many of them saw service. But this kind of ended up being shell-wise a step forward, but liner-wise basically the same. The liner is directly riveted to the shell, so you're not going to have all of that impact resistance that the other helmets had during the development. But Russia was kind of in the shit after World War I. They were kind of busy killing each other. So this was kind of very low on their priority list, which is why you see basically up until World War II, you could still see people using the M15 Adrians that they were given by France and Solbergs in service. You also see Finland. This is their only helmet until World War II, basically, when they start kind of buying stuff in the 30s from other countries. So not really the best option out there, but you can still see it's an upgrade. The shell is now one piece instead of being multiple pieces, which is going to help the rigidity of the construction. And now we're going to move on to everybody's favorite helmet that, despite kind of being the bad guys, it was ultimately the best design because pretty much everyone uses it today. But you see developments of these helmets in the interwar from the M16 Stahlhelm. Even the Germans during the war went on to improve the M16 Stahlhelm, whereas they made the M17 where the chin strap is now riveted to the liner rather than being a separate piece connected to the shell.
Nope.
That was different. Was that the M18?
Yep, the 17 they just use a steel or a steel band instead of a leather band to secure it to the shell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because the leather deteriorated in the wetness, so then they went to an aluminum band.
Correct.
So, but you see improvements, and then after that, you see a lot of countries adopt their own version of the Stahlhelm, or just plainly adopt the Stahlhelm. You see in 1927, the Irish just adopt the 1916 Stahlhelm.
And then they came out with their own version
all through World War II.
Well, the Vickers helmet's different than a Stahlhelm, though. That was actually Irish produced, and it's actually quite different.
Yeah.
But they use a Stahlhelm. I'm not saying you're wrong, but
it's still the same exact profile of shell. The metallurgy is a little different. It still takes the 16 pattern.
Yeah, the profile and
everything. It still has the lugs.
Right, but the profile, if you look at it closely, is a little bit different. It's way more streamlined. It's not as
Yeah.
this. It's just kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really weird helmet, and obviously, like in the U.S., those things are really
Well, they're
rare. But
super rare because they all scrapped them during World War II to have the
right,
medals, so
because
there's not many
yeah,
left. But you
yeah,
see a
but I
lot of
mean,
countries just adopt that design. Like Switzerland came up with their own design. This is the M18. So this is actually an original M18, although the paint is that kind of interwar dark gray rather than the black. So, and you can see that on the inside too. It's kind of gray instead of black. So,
yeah,
but so this would have originally be green, and it's hard to see, but there actually is green underneath this textured paint. So, but they adopted the Stahlhelm basically in every same way. It's just a Swiss take on it. Same chin strap connected to the liner. The liner is held in place with little clamps that are inside the helmet that hold the ring in place, and then 3 pads connected to that ring. And relatively same shape because it gave you good coverage. About the only thing that it was weak against as far as downfalls compared to the other designs is it tended to obstruct your hearing a bit more, but not enough to really warrant not using this design because it was the best design. So this is kind of the development that you see the Stahlhelm go to countries that kind of realized that had observers and everything and did a lot of their own extensive tests after World War One. Oftentimes those countries adopted the Stahlhelm. So then you see other designs, totally new designs after World War II. You see countries do their, not World War II, World War One. You see countries do their own thing, whether for usually the number one reason they kind of do their own thing is for one, they don't want to be affiliated with everyone else. And they want a home design. Armies till today would rather have something domestically produced than buying the rights from another country or using a design influenced by something else. They'd rather make something entirely themselves from design and everything to today, basically. So you see
the AR-15 versus the FAL.
yeah, basically. So it's the same thing. It's that kind of, makes you feel good inside type of home stuff. And one of the countries that did that would be Sweden. So
Yeah.
this is Sweden's first helmet here. That not actually their first helmet. This is their first helmet design. They actually adopted the Stahlhelm for a short period of time, and then they came up with their own design, which is this. This is 1921. It's original because you can tell it because it has this crest on it. The 1926 basically just is the same thing minus the crest. So
yeah,
but it is kind of a hybrid between the Adrian and the Stahlhelm. You can kind of see that shape.
So why is that referred to as the 1921 18?
Well, because they updated the liner.
No, I'm saying like that because I have one of those too, and like
Yeah,
it's referred to as the M1921 18 because the design itself came out in 1918, and then did they had that first, then they went to the Stahlhelm, and then
well, they had the Stahlhelm until they could produce enough of these to completely overtake it. They basically just bought surplus German Stahlhelms, like off the
sure,
shelf.
but then why is that called the 2118? Like
Because
21
they originally had German liners in them,
really?
and then they made their own liners. So yeah, so that's why it's called the 2118
interesting.
because it had an 18 style liner in it, and then they
Okay,
made
with the
their own
chin
liners.
strap and everything integrated. Yeah,
So
okay,
that's why
cool.
you see that the year it was made, which would be 21, that's when the first ones came off. But you see the
Yep.
18 behind them because it had an older style liner in it from the previous generation of helmets.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you get this cool mashup, and this is a awesome helmet design actually because it's a good combination of the best of both worlds between the Adrian and the Stahlhelm. It has a big skirt that comes down like the Stahlhelm, but it's got a very flat profile that doesn't obstruct your hearing. It even has the comb like an Adrian. It's bent into the shell rather than being a riveted piece, but it's there. So we see this cool kind of hybridization of those helmet designs, and this, like I said, came out in 1921. So, and it has the kind of 3-pad system, which was kind of the dominant system that you see basically even through World War II, because they were cheap to manufacture and durable, and they worked. But you see they have the steel ring, much the same way that the Germans have on their helmets, and then they are held in place by little split pins, just like the German design, all the way around. The chin strap is held in place by split pins as well, as you can see here by these little rivets. These are all split pins. They're not actually rivets. So the liner, once again, can be removed by the average soldier in the field. which is a thing that armies were very, very big on with the amount of stuff in World War One that had to be sent back to the armory. Every time something very small happened to it, that was a huge issue that a lot of armies had problems with logistically, and Sweden saw that, even though they didn't participate in World War One. So, and then you see very basic designs, even. The Czechs, probably one of my favorite helmet designs because of how simple yet how effective it is, would be the VZ32.
Can I actually interrupt you and let you know that I have one that's applicable right now? And actually, it's straight above me. That's actually earlier than the VZ32.
You have the VZ. There you go.
Here's one that I'm going to wipe the dust off of it. Nobody look. Jesus.
I had to do that to mine too. It's the same thing.
Just helmets collect so much dust, man. All right. Yeah, the VZ30. What an amazing attempt to make the Swedish Model 21 and the Stahlhelm have a child that looks disgusting medieval and puts these lugs on there for absolutely no reason. There was no Stirnpanzer on these. It was just like for the look of it, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, you got the three, or no, this is a 3-pad liner system.
3-pad liner, yep.
Yep, it's pretty typical. It's actually, this one's got a leather band on it, like an M16 German liner, which is very interesting. And then it's got just a leather chin strap that's affixed via bales. And these are rivets, not split pins.
Yeah.
Affixed directly to there. So that was actually, the Czechs used these for a couple years, and then they realized that they're kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So they ended up selling a shitload of these to Spain.
Yep. Spain was super big on those, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have my other one right here is green. It's painted green, and it's got the place for the fascist badge on the front. So that was Spanish Civil War use, which is why I have two of them, but I want to keep both of them. But yeah, they figured out this design was kind of dumb, and it looked really weird and whatever. And then they came out with the VZ32, which Devin will show you.
Which is what I have here. So yeah, this is basically after coming up with that design where they kind of tried too hard. I don't want to, say that.
No, they did. They absolutely did.
They tried to just take everyone's thing and throw it all together because they're like, it'll be the best if we take little bits of everyone's helmet and throw it together. And then they realized that was dumb. And then they basically came out with one of the simplest helmets to probably ever be fielded, which is a bowl. It's a bowl. This is often referred to as the eggshell helmet because it's kind of egg-shaped. It's just, there's no edge on it. It's raw, and it's just 5 pads, all right? And all the pads are held in place with, if I can get it to show up here on camera, little split pins that hold in place metal bars, all right, that hold the pads in place. That's it. You could fix this whole thing in the field. And the chin strap even is held in place. Well, the chin strap is riveted, but you didn't need to remove the bales to replace the chin strap. It was chin strap just had little keyhole studs, kind of like
the Germans adopted.
So you can replace the chin strap in the field, and then rather than having to replace the whole liner, even if something went wrong, all the pads are separate. So if one pad wears out, you can just replace one pad if you have to, because they're all split pins that can just be taken out all the way around the helmet. It was probably the ultimate simple helmet, and that's why so many people used it. You see Yugoslavia using it in World War II. You see the Germans using them in World War II. You see the Czechs using them in World War II. This happens to be a Slovakian one. You can tell by the cross there. The Finns bought a ton of them. Everyone liked it because they were super simple to manufacture and they were super easy to maintain and upkeep, as well as being a super effective design because it's sloped all around. Before kind of helmets with slope came into play, this is really the first one where slope became a factor, and the reason why they made it this way was because if you have a greater angle, so like a lower degree of a projectile hitting your helmet, there's a greater chance of it deflecting with less material.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, what I'm wearing, that's a way future topic, but yeah, this is no exception from that example. And but the VZ32, man, I cannot believe I don't have one yet. Well, I can because they're actually expensive.
They're expensive, yeah.
Yeah, I've always actually liked those, and I was like, okay, out of all the helmets that the Finns used, I can see why they liked it in like the top 3 of
them. They loved them, yeah.
And they're actually really low profile for that time period. Like they're very I hate to use the term loosely, but tactical. for that
Yeah,
time. Like they're very low profile and easy to maneuver. They don't dig
yeah,
into your neck while you're prone. Like it's pretty cool.
exactly. You can adjust how high or low it sits on your head very,
Yep.
very easily, and it was way ahead of its time, frankly, as far as
Yeah, it
helmets
was.
go. Yeah. And then,
Yep.
so basically, what you see is after this kind of 10 years, so the 30s hit after World War One, you see two designs become prevalent. You see designs that have a lot of slope, okay, and you see designs that are very spherical, okay. Now, these designs that are very spherical include the Swedish M33, um, the Italian
M37, you
M33 is
mean?
also, huh?
You mean the M37?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah, you said Swedish M33. I'm like,
No, no, no.
you mean the
I
Italian
jumped the gun. I was
M33.
going to Italian M33
But that's
after
what I was
that.
thinking. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
let's go in order here, bud. Yeah, no, you're
yeah,
good. You're good.
yeah. So the Swedish M37, you see the Italian M33, and even later the M1 helmet is a very spherical design because once again, you don't want a hard edge that a projectile can hit. Because if you have a hard edge, the chances of it penetrating go up. So if you don't have a hard edge, the chances of it deflecting go off way more. So like even what I'm wearing, the Portuguese M40, the shell is anyways, is a very spherical designed helmet, which means there's no flat edges, which means the chances of deflecting are going to go up. Which you see a lot of countries kind of test that after World War II, but that's kind of jumping the gun. Even like you see Finland, they had the M40 Stahlhelm that they standardized on after World War II. And then in the 60s, they tested the Swedish M37, a ton of which they had in stock through World War II as given a ton of aid. And they found out that it was like 3 or 4 times as effective for the cost of materials than the M40 Stahlhelm was because of the shape of it. So you see kind of a transition away from a lot of domes and a lot of skirts and everything like that to more conical and more spherical type designs because they were better at deflecting shells and shrapnel, which is good for being on the move. When you don't have a ton of cover, you want something that's going to provide that cover you can bring with you and a greater chance of survivability.
Yeah.
So, um, which is a design you see a lot of those designs become very prevalent in World War II, as you can see with this, the Portuguese M40. You see it with the Swedish M37. You see it with the American M1, because the Americans go from this, which is a World War I design, to the M1. They actually use this in the very first part of um, World War II. People, they always tell me like, well, the M1 was blah blah blah, this and that. They don't know that the M1 didn't come out until 1942. So,
Right.
or a
No,
lot of people like to,
the early people were actually the Marines, especially in the South Pacific,
yeah,
were using the 1917 A1. In the
yeah,
Marshall Islands, they were using them. Uh,
and
the
they oftentimes still had Springfields too instead of
Well,
Garands.
yeah, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
can of worms. Like there were entire American units armed with Springfields throughout the entire Second World War. But yeah, the Marines generally at the beginning, yeah, they had the 1903s because they were trained on how to shoot at like 1,000 yards with
yeah,
them.
obscene ranges. That was kind of
Right.
America's thing, was obscene ranges.
Yeah,
So
and that's the thing is like, but yeah, that's a whole other video and
yeah, that's a
topic.
whole
So,
nother thing that we can get
yep,
into at a later date.
I
But
really
like,
want to because it's cool, but
I
yeah.
know we're
But yeah,
nerds, but
anyway,
we
yeah, you're right. The early American units that were sent to the South Pacific, on like the kind of retaliatory things and preventative measures to secure
yeah,
territory. Yeah, they had 1917 A1s, 1903 rifles. They were using World War One gear.
yep,
Even the guys that there's a lot of units like the National Guard unit that I was in when they were in World War II, they were wearing World War One gear, 100%. And they had just been issued when they got to New Guinea in 1942. They had just been issued M1 Garands and M1s. So they're sitting there with HBT uniforms, all World War One gear, 1910 haversacks, 1910
yep,
gear, 1910 bayonets, everything, and they had like a couple new. It's just an awesome period.
yeah.
But had they not been issued M1s, they would have had. Well, they turned in their 17A1s to get M1s.
Yeah. And that was
Nope.
the thing through a lot of World War II, even through
Yeah.
most of basic training. You don't see M1 start getting issued in basic training until
Yeah.
1944. You see a lot of Kellys in training. It
Well,
states
yeah,
that.
it's like you're not
Yeah.
gonna give the basic trainees what our frontline troops need.
Yeah, you just need them to give them something to get used to the weight of having that on your head, and this is good for that.
Yeah.
So, but this was not a design for World War II tactics. This was not a good design for fire and maneuver tactics. This is great if you're standing in a hole, all right? Because
Yep.
all you need to do is cover the top of your head because you're seeing this much over the hole. Okay.
Correct.
Ultimately, that's what you want, is you want to see this much over the hole. And so
Yep.
this is a good design for that. But when you're trying to move with this, there's a whole huge portion of your head exposed
Oh
because
yeah.
this sits above the ear level. All right. There's a lot of vitals that are below ear level, like your spinal cord and everything like that. That if you have a blast go off behind you, this isn't going to protect you from that. So this is great for stuff coming down from above, not so much any other angle. So that's why you see a lot of designs kind of deepen and round and everything like that during the interwar period to adopt to the tactics that were pioneered towards the end of World War One.
So, question for you, Devin.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Swedish M21 and M26. The 26 you forgot to mention does not have the comb either.
No, it doesn't have the comb. It's a
said
simplified production, is all.
right.
It is.
Yeah, you said it didn't have the crest on the front. And I was just remembering. Wait, it's smooth on top too. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
and it's also not rimmed; it's raw edge, whereas the 1921 has.
Correct. Yeah, I forgot that too. Yeah, even though I fucking have it. All right. But anyway, so the Japanese Type 90. Give me a straight answer on what you've done as far as research. Which came first, the 21 or the Type 90?
Well, historically, that one's a lot of controversy because everyone's like
Right.
The Japanese copied the Swedish is kind of what a lot of people who just looking at them kind of see. And they're
Right,
very
but
similar.
did the Swedes copy the Japanese? That's my question.
No, according to research, they both came to that design on their own conclusion.
Oh,
So there's no historical interaction between the two from what we can see in documents. You just see them get to that design separately. So they both run their own tests and they both get a similar design. So
interesting. So,
yeah.
All right, we've got that clear because, dude, I've done a lot of research on that topic and like, I cannot get a straight fucking answer. So I was like, I don't know.
No, there's been lots of people who have just literally sat through archives and like testing, paperwork and everything like that, and they both just kind of came out with that would be a good shape for their manufacturing capabilities and
that would make sense.
Like that. So,
that would make a lot of sense, but
there
so
isn't
they're
any
similar.
influence one or the other there.
Well, right, because they're not like exactly the same, right? They're very similar, but they're not.
Yeah. They have
identical.
A similar silhouette, but if you get into details as far as shaping and molds and everything go,
and the liner
different.
and everything, yeah.
So
all right, because that was an interwar thing as well. I forgot to kind of mention. What was it, 1930? Was it not 1930?
I think it was. Yeah, it was early 30s because before that the Japanese didn't have a helmet. So
yeah, I mean it was
around
that time.
They did test German helmets at the end of World War One. They did test British helmets at the end of World War One, and they did. I don't think they tested any French helmets, but they did test helmet designs because the Japanese have this very cool habit of going out to other countries. They send people to other countries to see what they're doing and take notes, and then they come back and they combine all those notes and they make something themselves.
That's where you get the Lee Enfield mixed with the Mauser, and you get the Arasaka.
Yeah,
which is a great fucking rifle.
Historically, like I'm a bit of a drinker, and the Japanese make, as a Canadian, I'm a huge fan of Canadian whiskey, but close second has to be Japanese whiskey. What they did is they're like, well, we'll start making whiskey. So they sent people out to all the best places in the world that make whiskey, Cognac, France, Scotland to, get Scotch, Canada to see all that stuff. And then they take all their notes and everything, what those people do good. And they came back and they made their own thing using the parts that they liked out of all of those different groups. And they made their own thing doing that. And that's how the Japanese have been basically since Commodore Perry took over, forced Japan open to the rest of the world, is they had to get this adapt and overcome thing. So the best way to adapt and overcome is to see what literally everyone else is doing. And the Japanese are very good at sending people out who specialize in these things to come back with ideas and put together something really, really great for as cheap as possible.
Some of the Japanese did copy the Swedes.
There's no paperwork evidence that shows that, but
Would
it
there be
could
though?
have
Would there be?
happened.
Would there be?
Huh?
Would there be?
They came out at such a similar time that there's not really any evidence that
I'm
supports
not
it.
convinced based on your evidence and testimony. The Swedish claim they came out with the M1926, and 4 years later, the Japanese come out with a similar design designated the Type 90. Come on here, are we really splitting hairs?
That's a good impression. But
a
there's
valid
no
question,
evidence
though.
that supports that, though. So
Yeah, but I mean, like, really,
it
would
could
there
have
be
been,
though?
like
Like,
I say, in the end, we really don't know, but there's no evidence that supports
yeah,
whether they
yeah.
did or
So
not.
we can just guess and
Yeah.
whatever. So whatever, it doesn't matter. So interwar years, I think we basically got everything covered. Well, everything that we know.
Yeah.
Rather, I like saying that instead of everything because we're not fucking all knowing. But
Yeah.
interwar, yeah, not a lot was really actually happening as a lot of countries were still using soft caps.
Well, the thing is, you see, interwar periods have a time of making people lazy. A lot of armies after World War One, you see this even like with the American stuff. They're like, "That was the last war ever. It was so shitty. We're never gonna have another one. Take all your shit home." And they never tested or developed anything for the most part ever again, except for really tanks and airplanes. You don't see a lot of infantry development after World War One until the buildup period, until World War Two, or even in the Americans' case, the hard line at World War II because they freaked out. They were so late to the game. So you see, war has a habit of bringing innovation with it.
Yeah,
So because humanity is their single best thing that they've ever done throughout history is kill each other. So during war, you develop better ways to kill each other and protect your own guys. So that's why you see World War One being a super great big development phase, and then the interwar period not being too much, and then World War Two being another giant development phase. So that's why you
yeah.
see the shapes for the most part only change slightly during the interwar period, is because of that. So you see simplifications of manufacture, you see better materials, but other than that, not too much.
I'm just trying to see in the comments. Anon was saying that. Yeah, no, that's actually not cheap and whatever, and the shipping sucks. And for a few bucks more, I can get one that's totally restored to the way Devin's is.
Yeah, see,
Um,
mine was started out as a Finnish shell, so it was an original produced shell, and it was sent to Finland, and then some guy in um, uh, the Czech Republic bought this and then restored it using original materials and patterns. So
it's very sexy, Devin.
it's a great helmet. I'm glad I have it. So
Yes.
but
Yes, all right. Thank you. I suppose now we should read comments. How about
yeah,
that?
we should read comments now that I've kind of ranted about helmet development, and then probably the next live stream I'm guessing we'll do World War II, which is where me and you are just gonna have
Well,
stacks
we'll
and
do
stacks
probably 1940 to 43.
Okay.
You know, like we'll have to chunk that one out because that's going to be a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be very involved.
Spanish Stahlhelm. You're right.
Dude,
Spanish.
you're talking about the Model Z. It's not a Stahlhelm. It's a really lame, cheap, mass-produced copy of the German helmet.
Yeah.
It's not worth nearly as much. They're cool. They have their place in the collection.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else to say. Like they weren't
They're
used in any
garbage.
major conflict.
Yeah. And they're just plain garbage. The liners fall out of them all the time. The rivets don't even line up. And even the shells are usually kind of off-kiltered because they didn't line them up right in the stamping machines. Even.
Spanish Stahlhelm, Spanish Civil War? No such thing, dude. Like, well, okay, no, not no such thing, but like, not a lot of Stahlhelm were shipped to Spain.
No.
They had Italian helmets, they had Czech helmets.
Yep.
They had a lot of Adrian helmets, from all the
Tons
different
of Adrian
countries.
helmets because they were right across the border from France. Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't really have like Stahlhelms. Like,
no, the closest thing that they would be the Model 26. But even then, that's not really a Stahlhelm.
The Model 26?
Yeah, the Model 26, it looks kind of like the M40 here is the profile, but it had a big, really flared out back skirt on it.
Oh, yes,
edge.
yes. Okay, yep, yeah, the Spanish one, yeah, the Spanish M26, yeah. I thought you were talking about the French M26. I'm like,
no. They didn't have those, but yeah, the Spanish 26 was just this. It was basically this, but with a.
Yeah, no, I know what it is, and I saw one years ago at a gun show, and it was real and everything, and I was just like, well, they're never going to be worth anything. It was like $20.
No, they're pretty.
I was
collectible.
Like, God damn it! I wish I would have bought that. Like,
yeah.
The Spanish Foreign Legion the Germans formed.
No, we're not even at World War II. We're at the Interwar.
Yeah, we're in Interwar. We're not. Yeah, the Legion Condor, or whatever. Or no, what is it? Yeah, that was Legion Condor. It was the Germans that fought fought in the Spanish Civil War, and then the blue whatever were the Spanish guys that flew for the Luftwaffe in World War II. Weird stuff.
There was also a whole infantry brigade of Spaniards too that volunteered.
Yeah, well, there was also Brazilian people fighting for the U.S. that nobody knows about. So
that's right. They did. They fought really hard in Italy. They fought with the 10th Mountain Division.
Fuck yeah, they did.
So same thing with the Canadians. The Canadians were also fighting with the 10th Mountain Division.
It's weird
through Italy for the most part.
It took Americans and Brazilians to help the Canadians through. Weird.
So, well, a lot of the 10th Mountain Division was Canadian, but
I know. We're not going to get into that. I was joking. Hardy hard.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yep. No. But yeah, it was weird that the Brazilian unit, the Smoking Snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those guys bitched and pissed and moaned, and they were pretty much like a National Guard unit, but they were like exploited from a whole other country.
Exactly.
And then when they were fighting, they were like just absolutely fucking vicious, like just destroying testicles. Yeah. And it was like, wow. Okay.
Well, they had the reason they were connected to 10th Mountain and stuff like that, along with a lot of the Canadians from Western Canada, is because they had experience. They could instead of the U.S. allocating infantry that didn't know anything about that they could allocate those elsewhere. And since the Brazilians were experienced at fighting in the mountains and training in the mountains, that's just a resource the U.S. didn't have to train people for then.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing.
It's a very cool story.
A lot of people don't know about
since
that.
I'm such a big fan of 10th Mountain, I know all that stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. God, what the hell else? Oh, yeah, fuck, we were going to answer comments. All right.
Yeah, that's right. We were answering comments and got off on a tangent.
There's a story about 3 Brazilians who fought to their death. That narrows it down. Yep, Smoking Snakes. Yep. Also, random question. Do you know about Chilean Stahlhelm? Is it a composite? Good question, actually. Devin.
Yeah. Well, you see the Chilean army, they kind of are Prussian fanboys. To this point where even till today, they still goose step and everything like that.
Well, you don't got to get political on it, but just like, yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, maybe, yeah. Go ahead and tell them about them. Maybe he
Yeah,
doesn't
so
know.
everyone likes to give them shit for like being Nazis technically, but they adopted this style even way before World War One. This is like in late 1800s. They adopted the Prussian style of stuff. Everything, uniforms, pickelhaubes, everything. So they still carry on that tradition today. And now early Stahlhelms they would have been steel, and now they do have some kind of plastic ones that they use for parade and police and stuff like that. Not really ballistic ones though, unfortunately. More of just a lighter model than having to wear a big heavy steel one.
Cool. I didn't know that they were still steel.
So, yep, they still wear the big chrome ones. You can see them in their parade. If you ever get to watch one of their like parades, like even in like this year, you can see their parade for like their national holiday. They have the big goose stepping people out there in like the old 1800s like royal blue Prussian
Oh, I
tunics
know
with the
they wear fucking tornisters.
yeah.
You know, it's like, really?
They fanboyed so hard over Prussia that they carry that tradition on today in every aspect. So
The Russian SSH 68N. Do you have one of those, Novislav?
I know Mike's got one of them.
No, don't say that, asshole. It's gonna be a
I also have
surprise.
one of them. So
Yeah, Devin's got one.
I don't have an M though. I only have an N. So
He said, "Oh well, yeah." And
yeah, but that's a cool helmet because it's all hybrid. I like cool hybrid stuff like that.
yeah, it's very interesting. Like that's
You get the best of both
probably
worlds.
yeah, it's probably one of the most unique helmets I own now.
Yeah, if you do get the chance to get one for cheap, I'd say go for it because they're outrageously expensive. So, and if you actually live in Russia, they're probably much cheaper than here. But since me and Mike both live in America,
Mike and I.
uh, they're not cheap.
Mike and I.
So
Look, I understand you're half American, half British, but I'll tell you how to speak
and
proper
French.
English. Oh,
So
yeah, you're like a Christ.
yeah, we're not that great. And I'm wearing all my Portuguese stuff for you guys that if you've watched my channel at all, you know I really, really love Portugal. So I'm wearing all my nice Portuguese
Dude, they got
stuff.
some good gear, man. Like they
do.
Yeah.
Like this web gear is like the best version of the American pattern 36 and the British pattern 37 gear put together. It's so great. It's so adjustable for height and width even. You could adjust how wide the straps are in the back. And then everything on it, instead of having to like use an elaborate clip method, just has little speed hooks. This is the field pack, the small one. Just clips to D-rings on the back with these hooks. Take it off and on very easily.
Mitch, yeah, I saw the comment. Like, I made an entire like video on the Czech night vision. I don't know about the Russian stuff, so that's why I did comment back. Like, I can't give you an answer because I don't know.
Some pretty cool stuff though.
What?
Not a really night vision. Is that the one that you plug into like the cigarette lighter?
No, I found a way to circumvent that.
You did.
Yeah, no, you literally take the nodes that you plug into the adapter that plugs into the cigarette lighter or the 24-volt thing, and you gotta adjust the Czech ones, at least the PN or the PNV 57s. You adjust it to 12 volts, and then you can take the two little prongs that fit into this adapter, and you put them on the fucking terminals on the 9-volt, and it'll run them.
Really?
Yeah, I tried it with the Polish NS71s. Didn't work. The battery got really hot really fast, so I pulled it off, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, you
So
don't
you
want
have
it to
to run.
explode.
Yeah, you have to run that on a lantern battery, like an actual 12-volt battery.
Yeah.
But no, I got the PNV 57s to run a 9-volt. So I was thinking you could take those prongs and you could just like electrical tape or wire nut some the little terminal, the 9-volt terminals onto those, and then hook them onto a 9-volt battery. When they die, you just pop another one in and they'll work.
That'd be cool. especially if you're trying to throw together like kind of a Soviet block type thing. If you
Well,
wanted to
the thing
actually
about the
use something.
PN57s, which my supplier's been out for a while, which is why I haven't had them, is they work. Like they're actually pretty damn clear for night vision. Like you have to have an active IR light, but when you do, it's
Yeah.
actually really clear. It's
Well,
insane.
that's pretty good for like because that would be considered like Gen 2 night
Gen
vision, right?
Zero, Gen
Gen
Zero.
0. I
Yeah.
thought Gen 1 night vision was like starlight scopes from like Vietnam, where you had to have like a clear sky and infrared from like the atmosphere to work.
Well, that's before they really came out with like IR lights.
Yeah.
And then with the starlight scope, they actually they adapted that into the starlight scope for the M1 carbine. I forgot the nomenclature, which actually had its own like IR light.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was the one where it had like the M1 carbine with the big
Yep.
honking fucking thing on it that hooked to the backpack so it could have that IR projector so you could see.
Yeah, exactly. So Gen Zero is basically a night vision device that without IR, you can't see anything past like, your hand in
Yeah.
front of the damn thing. Um, yeah.
So that would make that Gen 1 then because you need the IR light for it, or is it Gen 0?
It's
Would it
Gen
would
Zero
it work
still.
if it was like a clear night? Would you need an IR light? So
Yeah,
would
you
it be like a
would.
starlight scope, or do you need to have that IR
Well,
searchlight?
yeah, yeah, for distance, like the the PNV 57s, like you can see barely in front of you. Like on a clear night, maybe you could see like 5 feet, but you have to have the IR light, and
Okay.
that's why they're Gen Zero. Now, I would say that scope on the M1 carbine, I forgot what the fuck it's called. But you know what I'm talking about, where it's got the
Yeah.
IR light like integrated in it, is still Gen
Yeah.
Zero because you
Okay.
need IR light.
And
Gen
that
One
was
is
basically just a copy of the one that the Germans used in the very last days of World War II, right?
right, right,
On the STG 44.
right, which actually was a miserable failure.
Yeah. But that's why, for you guys that don't know, why they went to that real red camouflage at the end of the war was because how to defeat infrared was to just wear a lot of red.
Right. And that's the thing, is
So
they had infrared like sensors that they would mount, and they could see like movement and stuff.
yeah,
And yeah, it was really cool. Like it took like, what was it, 30 years for the technology to like be able to be integrated in a headset,
yeah,
and like even the NS71s that I have, or I only had a few of those. My God, those sold out fast. But I kept a set, and you got the goggles, right? So it's like I'd say a Gen 0.5,
yeah.
because, or maybe that's Gen 1. I don't fucking know. But you've got the goggles,
We're not
right?
night vision experts.
Right. But you've got the goggles, and then you've still got this big ass IR beam light attached on top of the whole little system.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
So it's like it's sitting on the helmet, and you can actually mount it, and there's a pack where you wear it, it's like a little bag,
yeah.
so you can be mobile with it. With the PNV
So it's its
57s,
own
that was
self-contained unit that every soldier could use, whereas like the one
correct.
that you
The
see in
PNV
like Korea and stuff.
57s were, through the 60s, they were used. They were specifically designed for vehicles, so they
Yeah,
had to have
for
a
truck
direct,
drivers, so they could
yeah,
drive without their
direct
lights
like
on.
intense power source, and it was like you're stationary. You're not really
Yeah,
moving around with these. You can nowadays, like you can take a 9 volt and do that, but it was designed to be like, okay, you're in a vehicle, bam, you
yep.
whip
You're
these
just
out, you
using it to
plug them
like
in.
look around. You're not like running with it because I'm sure they're fucking heavy.
Well, yeah, but they had their own little, they had the tanker helmet attached to them,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the like
so
Soviet style one.
yeah, yeah, I've got a set of the PND 57s and the NS, or the box for the NS 71 sitting right there.
Oh, somebody's asking where's Dakota again.
Again, Todd, ask him.
So does anyone else have any questions about like interwar helmets? Anything you want to see up close since I have 8 of them sitting next to me?
And I've got the one. The one where we said, hey, I might have something. You don't have a Czech M30, do you?
No, I had the M29.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me about that.
Yeah, where it's the same exact thing as the M30, but they just cut the lugs off and put the little perforated air vents in them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
all that they changed, yeah. And
the
that
civil
was made
defense.
after the M30 actually, because the Germans came in and they didn't like the M30. So they decided to have the factory start making the 29s again.
Yeah,
I'm wearing the Portuguese M64 weapon.
and the M64 helmet.
I have was it the M4063 or is it 64?
Nope, the 63 is what I've got. It's literally just the Riddell fucking like M1 style lining, but it was made for
Oh,
infantry. Infantry. Yours was made for para
mine's the
units.
paratrooper one with the triple
Yep.
bales, right?
So it's like a
So, yeah.
64. Yep.
So I have the pattern 64, M40-64, and the pattern 64 weapon. You can still get the M. I like the M64 weapon because it's for the G3, and I really like the G3. Mike would probably want to put together a Chechen era stuff if it wasn't so hard to find in North America and then so expensive on top of that. Do I have a Soviet Adrian? No, I don't have a Soviet Adrian, but I have a updated Finnish liner Solberg helmet, and then I have an original Russian Solberg, but it has no liner or chin strap on it. It's just the green shell, and it still has the little prongs for the Adrian style liner. I love my M59 boots a ton. So, how's that video doing, by the way? Have you sold any boots since that?
Oh yeah.
Video featuring your coat was very strange, not to mention we couldn't see anything. Spetsnaz jump boots or jack boots? Well, they were used kind of interchangeably. You see soldiers basically on preference. You could still find jungle boots in normal sizes, but basically only in narrow. So if you have narrow feet, you could still find a size 10 in narrow.
Well, and if you wear, if you can find if you wear a size 10, you find a 11 narrow, your size 10 feet will probably fit into that.
Yeah.
What are my thoughts on Polish WZ-67 helmets? They're cool. I'm going to ballistic test one of them this year.
They're pretty great.
Yeah, I think the design is great. I just want to see how they hold up ballistically. But yeah, I think Polish stuff in general has always been really good.
What do I think of multicam? It's a pretty great camouflage. That's why everyone's using it. Normally used by the UN. Well, in the early days of the UN, you see a lot of Mark III helmets, like turtle helmets, and M1s. And they basically, the M1 was still the standard issue UN helmet through the 90s and into the early 2000s. Then they finally transitioned to the PASGAT. So it's currently the PASGAT.
All right, Kill Dude 26. BDU is better at Roger Scott. BDU is a pattern of uniform. It's not a camouflage design.
I
BDU,
believe
it's
you're
like saying
referring to
ACU.
Yeah, I believe you're referring to M81 Woodland as the pattern. I cleared that up when I did my Woodland video. It's M81 Woodland. It's not BDU.
Yeah, the first and second patterns, yeah, those are really expensive. Do you guys prefer VSR or TTSKO? I don't know. It depends on what terrain you're in, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing is with camouflage, you can't just say, do you like this or do you like that? what terrain am I going to be in?
It's situational, yeah.
Yeah, it's very every camouflage is extremely situational. Every helmet is extremely situational. So that's
If I
why.
had to pick one that I just think is cooler, I like TTSKO because I like mountain troopers and that's what they were issued. So
Yeah, and VSR would probably work really well in a semi like deciduous forest kind of
yeah,
environment.
temperate woodland, yeah.
Yep.
Or you could just go with green, like what I'm wearing.
Well, I could throw my jungle fatigues on and.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think UCP would work in winter? No, it would not because
it
here's the
doesn't
thing
work
is,
anywhere.
like I said in my video, 80% of males are hue deficient in the color of quote unquote green that UCP is, right? So for the 20% that aren't, it's going to look like a big green splotch with gray and whatever in winter. It's going to be darker than snow is, big time,
Yeah,
like overall. Even with the gray, it's going to be darker than snow. I've seen it like in a snow environment, like in real life. It's dark. Like
it is very dark.
it
It's
looks
too
like
dark to
dark
be
gray.
good
Yep.
snow camo, yeah. And then to the other seasons and huge areas of the planet that don't get snow, it looks like a gray mass and it doesn't blend into shit.
Right.
So
The new US Navy Monster is great. UCP worked in my gravel driveway. That's it. Yeah, that's what I did in the video. I laid down on my gravel driveway and it worked all right. I've literally only seen it work in one place ever, and that's the rocks in the reception battalion, the old reception battalion at Fort Benning. And yeah, it worked pretty well because the rocks were the same damn color.
yeah, I've seen UCP work really, really great when it's horrendously caked with mud because then you could blend in with mud.
Yep. And then they're like, oh, we'll make UCP Delta. We'll add a bunch of brown into it. Still, you can polish a fucking turd, man. In the end, it's still a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. And that's why the U.S. just went to a pattern that they already owned the rights to at the time they adopted
Yeah, about 15
UCP.
years prior. Yeah.
And now they just realized they made a big mistake. They got a ton of people killed and then went back to it anyways, which
Oh,
is what they wear now.
no.
So,
No.
yeah, olive drab's the way to go. That's why I like Austria. Austria doesn't give a fuck. They've been using olive drab for forever and it works
Yeah.
great.
Dude, okay, okay. Do you know about this? Like, I got a bunch of Austrian shirts, right? They're called M75 shirts. They're literally aqua, like bright aqua green. What the hell are those?
That was once again an attempt to defeat early night vision. It didn't really work out though, but they did issue them on a pretty grand scale.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and they're cool. They're made
if
from the same material and everything. They're just like fucking
yeah,
bright aqua. Like, I don't
that's why you see
understand.
like I have a Turkish Aegean camouflage, which is that very kind of aqua
Well, right, and
color
then
too.
all the Iraqi and Iranian helmets that I've seen and have are painted the same damn color.
Yeah, and it was to defeat the style of night vision of that era. So
Well, here we go, Devin. Here's a question for you.
oh. Oh, what is my favorite surplus canteen? Ooh, that's a hard one. Like for what?
That's why I love all these questions. What's your favorite? What's your favorite?
I mean, if I
Situational,
had to
man.
pick one to just, if I had to grab one for anything, it would be any 1910 style canteen because they're all the same. And pretty
Yep.
much everyone has adopted that style. But Austria did recently adopt a camo pattern. It's actually pretty neat. Did you know that?
What the fuck did they adopt?
Go look it up. It's cool.
No. What did just is it multicam variant?
Not really.
Oh, god damn it, I'm so lazy. All right, I'll look it up. You talk to these people.
All right. The Swedish, I don't know if they had a turquoise pattern jacket. Yeah, the whole kind of military thing is making it into the hipsters really kind of easily, like with the PT
Wow,
belts
that's
and everything
really
like that.
bright brown.
Yeah, but that works for their environment, which is pretty heavily mountainous.
Well, and since they're pretty much Switzerland now, yeah.
Yeah. Advice for a beginning collector.
Volkönig.
A beginning collector of what? Helmets, canteens, boots, fatigues, camouflage, plates, stamps. Like, what do you want? What do you want to start collecting? Chocolate chip is much cooler than Flecktarn. Ah, debatable.
Oh, dude, I'd agree with that. Like, as far as the aesthetic, like,
Yeah.
it's weird. Is like six color chocolate chip is really complicated
Yeah. It's
camouflage.
also a very aesthetically pleasing camo. It doesn't look like dog vomit like most of them.
Right, and I think it's really cool. And again, it works better in the desert than fucking ACU does.
Yep.
See a lot of
How many
hipsters wearing the
things?
US 1980s. Dude, you know what? They can wear whatever they want. It's
Yeah.
comfortable. Hipsters are. You should somewhat take a lesson in their example of like comfort and style because they actually are pretty good at
Yeah.
that. They think
Military
it
shit
makes them
works
different.
great.
They think it makes them different, but it really doesn't. Um, hey man, hipsters wear Flecktarn. They wear fucking. I've seen them wear jungle fatigues. Man, I like that
They're
shit.
comfortable as fuck. Yeah. How many things do I collect? Well, my main things are helmets, boots, and canteens and mess kits. I have a lot of all three of those.
You should start collecting gas masks.
I have a few, but I don't. It's
Yeah,
not
so
my.
do I.
It's not my forte as far as knowledge goes,
Same,
because it's
same.
not something I could use every day. Whereas I can, you know, wear a helmet if I really wanted to every day. I wear
Yeah.
boots every single day. I've got probably 50 different pairs of combat boots sitting in my apartment, and I've cooked many a meal out of a mess kit and taken many a drink out of a canteen. So,
Someday I'll be as cool as you.
what is the rarest item I own? Um, it's probably one of my least watched YouTube videos, but I have an original second pattern seamless canteen. A lot of people don't even know there was a second pattern seamless canteen, M1910 canteen, but I have a whole video on it if you want to go watch that.
No, don't watch it. Don't become educated because keep them cheap.
Well, they only made like 1,500 of them total, so they're not cheap to begin with, but I do have a lot of military surplus boots from pretty much every era. So,
Do any of you have a Fadain soldier helmet? You mean the Darth Vader helmet? No, those are literally
they're super rare.
unicorns. I will have one by the time I die. I will have one in my collection. You're goddamn right, but I don't have the money for it now, and I don't. I don't know. They're really hard to get, and there's been fakes popping up lately, and it kind of
Yep.
sucks.
And it's also hard to find an original that's not totally fucking destroyed because they weren't made out of the nicest materials.
Iraqi stuff in general is horseshit. Besides their
Yeah.
M80s that were made in South Korea, they do not manufacture things well, and they manufacture
Yeah.
them the cheapest way possible, including the Fadain helmets.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of videos on military surplus backpacks if you're interested in seeing some of those. I've got quite a difference. I'm a big fan of hiking, so I use a lot of military surplus for hiking and camping.
Weird.
So because it's cheap. Special left-handed gas masks. A lot of them were just made ambidextrous or right-handed because even if you were left-handed, most militaries forced you to be right-handed. Do you guys like the Tornister pack? At the time, I'm sure it was really great, but in today's standards, it's kind of small.
Yeah, pretty rigid too. I could live in a war, says Roger Scott. It's a pretty fucking bold statement, my friend. Like,
It's also pretty easy to do right now because most field armies are just there to occupy space. They hardly even do any killing. The tips in preserving helmet liners. I normally just use like you can get leader grist or you can get mink oil and just periodically gently wipe them down with mink oil because that's gonna help keep the leather hydrated.
saddle soap's good too, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want to overhydrate the leather because especially with really really old leather, it'll just disintegrate then if you overhydrate it. But you want just enough to keep it from drying out. So a nice light layer every now and then will protect it. Yeah. Yeah, German stuff is really super expensive because everybody wants to be a Nazi.
Yep, exactly. All right, Swiss
items are getting more expensive. So
the M18 is not faked already. Where did you hear that, or where did you see that?
yes. There's plenty of M18s out there still. So
Well, not plenty, but like I
there's
doubt there's such a scarcity that people are reproducing them.
No.
They're not
I've
that
got
desired.
like 6 or 7 of them, and they still can be had out there for $30 as an original. So at the point like, right now, it wouldn't be worth it to make an M18 because you'd have to charge the same price, if not more, to make it new again today than buying an original one. So
$400 on an M40 with a Norwegian liner. Shit, then I guess my M35 the Norwegian liner is worth more than that. Awesome.
Probably.
No, Josh, don't be sorry. It's just like
no, you're fine, man.
I just like if somebody was reproducing M18s, I'd be very pissed off, and I'd be like,
yeah,
hey, what the fuck do you think you're doing? M18, the Swiss M18 helmet. Maybe they're making liners for it, but I've never heard of that. Like, why did anybody do that? Like, the M18 is still very affordable. Yeah, yep, Devin's got it.
So
you got to talk like over me, like if you're trying to show something, because it only shows one of us at a time.
Oh.
So, but yeah, I mean they saw it, like the M18, the Swiss one. So it's got so much wear to it. More than else, it's just I'm Canadian. It's in my blood to apologize. Oh, Devin, you just found a buddy. A fellow fucking Canuck.
Yeah. There's a lot of Canucks. I have so many of them that follow my channel.
Jesus, that's really sick.
What, Canadians?
Yeah.
There's not that many of us.
Yeah, okay, Novislav. That's what's great is I hated that shit too because I was clearly like the problem is in the pictures they don't misrepresent it. It's like on you, and then when you actually get an M52, you're like, I'm an idiot. And so that's why I advertise my SSH 40s as SSH 40s because I know what the fuck they are and they're obviously more expensive.
There's a lot of people who don't know what they have. Yeah.
Dude, IMA is horrible for that. They've been selling Czech M52s for $50 for fucking years. And people are just that don't know anything about it are like, I have a World War II Russian helmet, you know, it's fucking amazing. Vasily Zaitsev, enemy at the gates, wore the same helmet. It's like, nah, he fucking didn't at all.
Most Russian snipers didn't wear helmets. Ever.
Well,
so.
Well, if you're really splitting hairs there on enemy at the gates, I mean.
Yeah, that was a really historically inaccurate movie.
The PU didn't come out until early 1942, and Vasily apparently had one in late 1941, and they got to the front lines really fast. And all of his buddies had PU snipers.
Anything really fast.
Yeah, no. Fucking, yeah. Enemy at the gates, he had a PU scope on his fucking 9130. Dude, he had a PEM in real life, like the big fucker. The best one, actually, the really good scope.
Yeah. What do I do for a living? I am a merchandiser for one of the largest, well, I shouldn't say merchandiser. I'm a retail merchandising supervisor for one of the largest food companies in North America.
Not to toot your own horn or anything. Like,
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Oreo. I'm the reason they're double stuffed.
next time I see you, I'm gonna punch you in the dick so fucking hard your grandma's gonna die.
Why?
That was just really dumb what you just said. Like,
Yeah.
you're just like.
I even got like sample packages, rare ones that don't even have shit on them yet.
Okay, so Order 227 wasn't aimed towards soldiers, but NKVD commissars. If a sniper was wearing helmets, it would mess up the view if they fell over their eyes. Not true. What is weird is that SH-40s were cheap, then got expensive. Now they're cheap as fuck again. What do you mean by that, Navislav? How do I identify the date on my East German helmet? Right, if you're wearing it, the left side on the skirt, right by your left ear, flip it over. There'll be a Roman numeral 1 through 4, and it'll have a 2-digit date on it. But the size is going to be the Roman numerals. The date is going to be the numbers. We got it brand new out of storage for like $30, and I saw they had gone up in price to like 60. Yeah, that's for a used one. I'm about to have some new ones, like new condition ones, and they're gonna be a lot more than that. So yeah, there you go.
It's a good helmet though.
It's a very good helmet. Yeah. All right, Roger Scott lol. Mike is going to double stuff Devin after this. You're goddamn right.
Yeah. Dakota is Dakota chained up in your closet? Is that why he's not in any video?
Shh. Next time I see him, I'm gonna double stuff, so I'm gonna make a t-shirt of that. Also, were there different M56 helmet shell types instead of line changes from the other 50s? Some of the German plate. Well, no, the
technically. But...
Well, yeah, the shell types like the pre-1976 shells are going to have the 3 rivets for the old style liner. Okay, which really, I mean, the same shell design and everything, just those 3 holes for that. And then anything post 76 is going to have no holes in the actual shell, and they're just going to be like tack welded, like little posts that hold the plastic liner in. Remember, some of them have the German flag decal early DDR life. Yeah, I mean, I guess some units did that. It wasn't common practice after the 60s. I know that.
Nope.
5 to 8 years ago, the SH-40s could be found for about $30. In 3 years, they jumped to around 50. Now they're back to about 30. Now SH-40s are more expensive than $30 now, but they're still about $50. Like, yeah. I don't know where you're finding SH-40s for $30, but they're probably M52s.
Yeah. I really want to get one of the really want to get one of the Cuban ones. I saw one on eBay not too long ago.
Oh, the M52s, yeah.
Yeah, one of the Cuban ones. And I was like,
oh. Yeah, no, I know. They would you think the Czechs were like kind of coerced into doing that, or did they just go, "Oh, here's a couple bucks," or what?
I think it was kind of like Soviets, like who's got here's a bunch of our helmets since you're going to be the farthest west Soviet bloc thing. Which one do you like the best? Because they had so many different versions, and I guess they probably just liked that one the best.
I haven't had on the Binance stage for $150. Yep. Depends. Some of them have Czech liners, SSH-40s. No, they don't.
No,
not at all.
SSH-40s will always have the 3-pad liner.
I guess I have to make the goddamn video about like the difference in all the like the Hungarian M70, the SSH-40, the Czech M52, and the WZ-50. I got to make that video. Like the rivet placement.
The shell's all the same for the most part. It's the liner.
The WZ-50 is a lot different, actually. The ear thing is way forward from the other 3. But okay, here we go. So, oh, cool. It says 81. So, yeah, it's 1981 then. Yep. Can't believe it's 60 for a used one. Yeah, man. post-war stuff is going to be as much as the craze of the World War II? Yes, it is. That's why I'm trying to make these videos and not like
Dispel
trying to
some of
start
this
a
crap,
panic,
yeah.
but like, yeah, I'm just like, dude, you should probably jump on this shit now before it's totally fucked. You can get them on
Exactly.
eBay for 30, but they're East German. No idea what you're talking about. I was thinking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Not going to come in. Not worth $60. Okay, it's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah.
A lot of European sellers have been selling SSH40s for $36. Yeah, but add on $40 to $50 for shipping.
In shipping. Yeah.
Dude, I don't give a fuck with the. Oh my god, people don't understand how eBay works. Like, sure, the asking price, and if it's like an auction,
Yeah.
and you look at it, it's $24. It doesn't mean it's going to go for that.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, rant aside, I just picked up a Norwegian M42 helmet the other day. Always fucking cool to see helmets have multiple lives. Agreed. Totally. I've got a Norwegian M35. That was my first German helmet ever. ET64. Got the kind of apple green finish on it with the scrubbed Norwegian decals.
That's awesome.
All right. Hell, I think IMI has some Warsaw Pact SSH40 helmets. Oh, so yeah, they're still doing it. Fun. Don't fucking buy from them.
Yeah.
What countries changed out the liners? Mitch, I'm trying to keep up with so many comments here. You're gonna have to like dumb this down like a second grader for me. What exactly is the point you're trying to make? Putin, do you plan on selling Repo Pickelhaube? Maybe. What do I think of Mitchell's Mausers? He spent way too much money scamming people. There's no collector's value. They're probably great shooters. Don't want to get into that. I have a Russian helmet dated 1951, but would like to know more about the Polish one that I have. It's got a net on it, but I have no idea how to date or any of that stuff. You got to watch some more of my videos, bud, and then come back.
Yeah.
Or Devin's videos, too. Like, it's crossover. We both do a lot of the same things.
There's a lot of ways where I'll tell you could tell based on some liners and some changes in the metallurgy, or oftentimes they're just dated. You just got to know where to look for it.
Hold on. All right, so what do you think about a dry oilcloth Mark II? Almost flaky. What do you think about it? He probably thinks the same thing you do, like it's shit. Helmet liners.
Well, I'd try to keep it intact as much as possible. There really isn't anything you can do to repair oilcloth because it's kind of naturally hydrophobic. You can't really ever fix it without destroying it or replacing it. So I'd probably just try to keep it nice as a shelf display and not break it up too much.
Riley, for a favorite product I sell. Currently, the Vietnam third pattern jungle fatigues in size large, long, unissued. That is my favorite product. Yeah, by far. I'm just saying what countries had the SSH40 shell, but different liners. Well, the shells are different too. Like,
yeah, I think he just means
the double
that
sword
kind
decal,
of design, though.
The double sword decal, that's the Czech acceptance mark, has been pre-World War II. That's a Czechoslovakian acceptance mark. It's a Czech M52 more than likely. Yeah. Okay, I will make a video now that I actually see there's a need for it, which fuck, okay. I will make a video on, let's see, do I have all these? A WZ50, SSH40, M52, and M70, Hungarian M70. Yeah, I do have all of them. I can make a video on this, and it will clear up so much shit for a lot of collectors.
It certainly will, because it's a big deal.
Am I doing Vietnam reenacting in the spring, summer? Probably this year. I've been trying to do it since high school, and then just never did it. Got into World War I, but I wanted to do Vietnam forever. So it's literally like the amount of retarded M1 helmet copies that the West produced and the East produced. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a good design. Like the core design is a great design on both the M1 and the SSH40. So why the fuck wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it's kind of like everyone who decides to direct a Batman movie or a Spider-Man movie. They got to keep redoing them and making new stories because they got to put their own take on it. Other than that, it's basically the same thing in the end.
I don't have an SSH60.
An SSH60, all right, is an SSH40 shell that they put the 68 liner in.
It's actually the SSH63, but
yeah. Got a Stahlhelm by the lava lamp there.
Yeah, it's my original M35 double decal hair helmet.
Yes, an SSH 60 has more rivets because it has 4 pads instead of 3.
Oh, shit.
An M40 and an M4056.
The fuck's an M4056?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You mean M4055, like the Finnish one?
Yeah, the Finnish ones.
Ugh.
Is there any functional difference between an SSH 40 and a US M1? It's designed to keep your head from exploding from shrapnel. So, and they both did their job okay.
Jeez, they're looking like an Alabama Tech.
Yes, the 55s were basically just any M40 the Germans could get their hands on, rather not the Germans, the Finns could get their hands on, rather their own domestically produced ones. The M38s that they had a ton of, or the German produced M40s that they got. In 1955, they all just went back to the factory to get standardized liners and chin straps was all. So.
Oh, the M16, that's an A1. Watch tomorrow. I'm going to be posting a top 5 video. So, yes, it is between condom companies. Yeah, actually, I agree with you, Riley. You got one. Excellent.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yep, good metaphor. That's exactly what it is.
Except for that one company a few years ago that had to pay out a shit ton of money because they
this is what I love. This is all right, cool. Now they love. Mike, you should try to get your hands on the Soviet fragmentation vests like the 6B3 and 6B5. I'm not going to give you $1 a month on Patreon or to PayPal, but you should definitely just buy this out of pocket to make a video that 120 people are going to look at, and then you just lose money having it sitting around. Good stuff.
They're very, very expensive here. So
yeah, no. It's several $100s, and
yeah,
all right.
I have one Russian vest, and it's not even a good one, and it was like $600 to get it here, all said and done. So,
do you guys own or see an SH36? I've never seen one or owned one. They're rare as hell.
Yeah,
they're really shitty helmets.
Yeah, you could find Battlefield relic shells, but they do make reproductions of them.
Well, repros are never as good as the original.
No, they're not. But
all right, most curious in 1916. Sometimes it airs. Yeah, Mitch, are you being serious? I don't know if you're trolling, but like if you're being serious, yeah, the 1916. The reason the lugs are on a 1916 Stahlhelm or in 1718 is for the Stirnpanzer, which literally means like forehead armor.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, it's held on by a leather band that goes around, and like the lugs keep it in place from moving around at all. Yeah. Yes, the purpose was for sentries and machine gunners or people that were stationary to be able to put their head actually above and look that little distance that Devin was talking about earlier. And it could legitimately take a round to the skull, or not to the skull, to the helmet, and you'd probably not get one through your skull.
Yeah, it was meant to stop rifle rounds because most riflemen and snipers and just everyone in general, the second anything would pop above the trench, they were supposed to shoot it. Yeah, so
it's like that actually did work because it wasn't made for moving infantry, even though a lot of like very early stormtroopers used them.
Yeah, you see some assaulters with it. Yeah,
but it weighed about was with 3-something pounds, so you add that to
it was over very heavy. Yeah,
over 5.5 pounds of steel on your head, and it would constantly like make your helmet go down like this. So that's why it was for stationary people that weren't moving, but it was vital to have head protection, and it did work. Proved to be very not cost effective and not used widely as much as they wanted it to. So, all right, sell Stahlhelm blueprints as posters, for fuck's sake. Yeah, give me the blueprints and I'll sell them.
The same. Yeah.
Like, give me the blueprints. Like, who the fuck has blueprints of Stahlhelm sitting around?
Yeah.
Really? And who would buy them besides you? Come on. Let's be
Yeah.
real here. Like blueprints, yeah, sell them to the Chinese. They still wouldn't make them right.
Do you know where you can find an M18 that's not finished? Not really. They're kind of gone. And then do you have any videos on how to date World War II German helmets? Well, there was really only like 4 different kinds.
3.
And you can see them all aesthetically. An M35 is basically the same as all the others. It has a rolled rim, and the vent holes are separate pieces. An M40, the only difference between that and an M35 is the vent holes are part of the shell. And an M42 is the same thing as an M40, except now it doesn't have a rolled rim. And then the paratrooper one is the same thing, but without a skirt.
You're right, there were 4. God damn you. I was being all high and mighty here.
Well, there's actually 2 different paratrooper ones. There's the
I know there's a 38
and the
and there's the
but
38 Model 2 or whatever that had the different spanners and all that shit. So Brunel's Vietnam era M16 variants. Yeah, I'm gonna get one for reenacting because I want to fuck up my original. And I want a 1.7 twist. Well,
and they work pretty well from what I've seen review wise.
Yeah, like they're cool, but like yeah, I'll probably end up getting one of those to be honest. I will never pass it off as original, but yeah. There it is. M18 is not I'm just gonna get your number because you're looking mighty fine. You're really gonna have to work for my number, dude.
Yeah.
Like really work for it. Like
there's got to be some incentive there.
You send me a fucking unissued M18 with original liner and chin strap, I'll give you my fucking number. And yeah, I am thick as fuck. I'm a fat motherfucker. And yes, I can have your babies. Mike, my daddy. No homo.
Does that mean he's legitimately your kid?
I hope not. Jesus. Well, yeah.
He's gonna make it happen, Mike. Oh
Let's
boy,
see.
you better keep your DMs open.
Nah. I'd be like, well, shit. PLA to use the Stahlhelm. Did they?
Well,
they did. They used the M35. Yeah.
So, well, even further back, you see they used original German World War I style helms because China,
they used C96 Mausers and everything too.
Yeah, they were very, very big into German stuff. So
before the communism.
Yeah.
Actually, it was while the communism shit was
How
going.
often do I go on eBay looking for helmets? Basically every day.
I just got here. Interesting stream. Oh. Yeah.
Wait, if I have French in me, doesn't that make me better at sex than Big Mike? Not really. The French people just the reason everyone thinks they're so good at it is because the French laws have no rules against public affection, so you could just like rail somebody on a park bench or like in a subway station, and that's okay.
Exhibitionists, les shut up.
Yeah. So, pith helmets. I did have a pith helmet a long time ago. It wasn't a real one. It was a reproduction British one. The Halsey pattern pith helmet, which is kind of like the iconic British explorer pith helmet. But no, I don't have any pith helmets.
He's talking about the Vietnam one, the olive drab one. Like,
yeah, I've seen reproductions of them, but I haven't.
Yeah, there's a lot of repros. I was thinking about getting some. Like, that'd be fun.
What are my main searches or keywords for looking? Well, it depends on how I'm feeling that day, really. So, but normally it's like a country.
His main keywords searches. Mom teaches daughter how to fuck. That's literally Devin's wrong, main searches or keywords every day.
Yeah, so. Man, you have a lot of people who are really into you.
Oh, the Mosin Crate. Yeah, that's a name that I don't know. The fuck are you doing watching me, you lifeless, spineless, deep south piece of shit?
Japanese helmets look stupid. I think they work okay for what they are. They look pretty decent.
Japanese helmets look gay, but Swedish helmets are amazing. You guys have any pickle helps? Nope. I don't have $1,000 to spend on a leather helmet that's going to continuously deteriorate over time.
North Carolina is not the deep south. Well,
all right, hey
depends.
penis unknown. I know your fucking name, but I'm going to use your username. Yeah, he lives about a half hour from you, so yeah, he's deep south. If you really want to go there and be like, I take offense to that. Yeah, my fake southern accent because I fucked my sister. Yeah. Yeah. The Mosen Crate's watching. The Mosen Crate's watching. The Mosen Crate knows everything.
They make reproduction Japanese helmets. You can find a lot of shells. I've seen a lot of shells, but it's hard to find them with the liners in original condition for Japanese helmets.
Yeah, I was thinking about buying a repro, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hold out because that one opportunity is going to arise when I could buy one for like $100 at an auction
for
or something.
Way cheap, yeah.
And I'm just going to get the one. That's all I want is a Type 90. You know, that's complete
just
and
to
good.
say you have one, exactly.
Yep, and that's it. So there's between the German-made B26 helmet and the Danish one.
The stamp in it. That's basically the only
difference. Yeah, any other contract. Netherlands, like the ones I've got up on my site. Austrian ones. Well, the Swiss ones are actually made in Germany. I found out.
Yeah, and the Swiss ones are actually different too. They have actual lugs on them. They have a different design and a different.
They spent a shitload of money on those.
They've nearly bankrupted their national defense budget for like 2 years buying those.
Yeah, fun.
$480 for your phone number, Mike.
For him, yeah. If he PayPal's me $480, I'll give him my phone number.
Yeah, then block it the second he sends it.
Sure, just fucking like, yeah. Yeah, we'll invade Poland, and then we're going to fuck the Russians over. That's what you would do. But 2 seconds later, be like, yeah, we'll help you invade Poland, and then we're going to fuck you over.
$234.85 was okay, but
well,
I actually really like Poland. I have no ties to him at all, but Poland is actually a pretty rough country.
When am I going to buy a T-34-85 and absolutely destroy Germany? Yeah, here's the thing. Let's do some basic, kind of common sense logic equations here. I've got a T-34-85, cool tank, piece of shit as far as driving. The Germans have the Leopard 2 at minimum.
Yep.
That's like literally being drunk high and fucked up on every drug known to mankind, going up to the Rock and trying to punch him.
Yep. Why does everyone hate Poland? They just want to exist.
I don't hate Poland. I love Poland, man.
Poland's fucking great. If you're a military historian and you hate Poland, you're retarded.
Poland's dude, I'm 30% Polish. Like my heritage, I'm 30% Polish. Fucking love them. They're amazing. Their military is amazing now.
They got some pretty fucking tough guys.
Yeah, I know. I will do more Vietnam stuff. Trust me. Today was
Vietnam's cool. I'm learning a shit ton from your Vietnam stuff. You've even got me interested in Vietnam stuff.
Good. It's the next World War II, dude.
When did the Canadians ditch the M1? 1994 officially they adopted the CG634. But
really is the first.
What? Still see them in use later than that. So,
am I gonna get surplus M1 shells at my store, dude? Eventually, I don't know.
Go buy a whole M1 helmet from Mike. They're not that expensive.
Surcharge being so much. Do you think a lot of surcharge being? It's probably more Czech than East German. How much do I have to pay Mike for him to restart the Vietnam War and waste some rice farmers? You give me literally $10 million. That's it. That's all I'm asking. $10 million, I will fucking convince the United States government to go to war with Vietnam again.
Yeah, they're desperate for money.
Just $10 million.
They're like a crack whore right now. They'll take anything.
Dude.
Is Kosovo Serbia? I believe Kosovo is an autonomous region that is both recognized as an independent country as
This
well as being
fucking
claimed by
kid,
Serbia.
Devin, this fucking kid. Ah, no, on 42 or 42069. Yeah, that's really fucking original. 42069.
And
I've been
that's
seeing
coming
you
from a
for.
Slav. I'm half Slav, so I don't get involved in the former Yugoslavia because you're all fucked up, unfortunately. So
Yeah, you're not the right form of communism. Yeah, you guys got it wrong. You didn't do it right. Which is why they lasted 2 more years in the Soviet Union. So
10 million shekels for your phone number.
oh, you're trying to quote Rick and Morty. Schmeckles. Like Schmeckel means like cock or penis in Yiddish, right? It would have been more funny if you would have spelled it right. And
How
I would
many?
have gotten the reference and actually played into it. But because you fucked up and you didn't know exactly what we were talking about, I'm not going to
What do you
reply.
think of California gun control laws? Well,
Don't
there's a
give a
reason I
fuck.
don't live in California.
Not my
Yeah, we
monkeys,
don't
not
live
my
in
circus.
California for a reason. So,
You penis wrinkles keep electing that shit or allowing that shit to be elected. Move out of the state. That's what's
yep.
great about the United States. You guys go east. Holy shit, you guys have a lot of really conservative, good country, or not even conservative, just realistic, good country.
Yeah,
So
you can move just across the border to Nevada and go into Walmart and buy a machine gun.
bullshit. You gotta have a class 3 for that. That's a federal thing. You're a
So,
fucking twat.
you can't buy a machine gun anywhere in California.
Oh, I know that. Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
capitalists are the problem. Nah, capitalism's an economic ideal.
This kid's just trying to like troll and like he's probably like 13 or 14 and trying to get a reaction. So like that's what he's doing.
He's not going to get a reaction out of me. I'm
Yeah,
smarter than
that's fucking
that.
easy. Like I don't understand. Like these kids nowadays are like they try and troll, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
I fucking literally came of age during the golden age of trolling on the internet.
exactly.
Figured it out, got owned many times,
Been
and
there,
like
done
can
that.
spot this shit. Mark Dice even lives in Cali. I understand because he's making money off of retards that watch his shitty videos. Not the content, but like, I hate seeing his little face going on every video, like in the little corner. Like, it just annoys me. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Mitch, I don't want to fucking talk politics
Yeah.
with you, like, or philosophy. Jesus Christ. You don't understand how many people like you I've talked to, and it's not new to me or fun.
It's
It's
all
just
everyone's own opinion. Everyone
I
can have their
my
own
penis
fucking
is bigger
opinion.
than yours. My ego is better than yours. I'm gonna prove my point right.
no, I don't play that game anymore. Sorry, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah, fine. I have the helmet you're wearing and don't know what country model it is. My helmet or Devin's helmet?
The one I was wearing is this one.
Cool. You love me though. Thank you. What the fuck helmet are you talking about? Which one? Mike or Devin? Name it. Oh, mine? This is a Soviet. Obviously, somebody who has never watched any of my helmet videos. SSH 68. Came out in 1968. Was designed to be a more deflective, comfortable, able to be worn with the Ushanka winter cap helmet, and was still in use. Actually, it's still in use today. And it's probably one of the cooler design steel helmets. I have to get another one to ballistic test it to actually see that in action. But ugly as shit, apparently very effective.
What is my least favorite steel helmet? Comes down to situation again. So
Where's
Because
Dakota?
every helmet's going to be bad at something and good at something.
I don't know. Ask
And
Dakota.
it depends on the era. Most prized possession in your collection, Mike.
Oh, my grandfather's dog tags. As weird and insignificant as that may be, that's my prized possession.
Mine's probably my Bardet helmet. I have an unissued Canadian Bardet helmet, so.
Yeah. World War II German helmets are super thin. No, they're not. You obviously haven't handled a lot of them.
They're really thick steel, actually, compared to other helmets of the era field.
They're like 16 gauge steel and 16 to 18, while like the U.S. helmets are like 20 gauge steel.
That is state trooper helmet hanging on the rear behind you.
Now, every campaign hat's a fucking state trooper hat.
True. Hey, why can't it be a Mountie hat, huh?
Because it's not pinched the correct way.
That's true. Well, they still have the Montana Peak.
No, it's different though. It's not straight on. It's diagonal.
True. And theirs is also lighter tan.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not dumb. Trust me, I know the campaign hat thing.
Yeah.
I get that it's Canadian and American, but if you show me a picture, I'll be like, that guy's American, that guy's a Canuck.
Exactly. Viet Cong sandals. Weren't those just made out of tires?
Some of them, yeah, but like... Do I have any German medals? No. They're more expensive than I think they're worth, so...
Yeah, they are.
I'm not gonna pay like, $100 fucking for a piece of metal this big. Especially when I didn't earn it. I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? Show off to everybody? Like, am I gonna go, oh, look what I have? I don't really care about them, so therefore I'm not gonna pay that much for a little piece of metal.
The Germans did have an incredibly smart design for their helmet. But towards the end of World War II, you start to see that it's, as far as steel helmets are going, there's better designs out there for steel helmets of the era towards the end of World War II. But then you see that come right back around in early Kevlar designs and even modern Kevlar designs.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you a little bit, like 5 seconds earlier than I wanted to. What the hell do you think about or when I say this, I know the Romanian M39 helmet. I know it's a Dutch M34. That's what I was saying. Like,
yeah, it's actually a very, very great helmet design. So
yes, that's what I was wondering. Like, I think that was actually on par with the Stahlhelm.
It was. I agree, and it had that very aggressive front slope that the Stahlhelm doesn't have. What makes it better than the Stahlhelm is because once again, it doesn't have any flat sides, whereas the Stahlhelm has this ring right about here where it's flat walled all the way around. Okay, and that's the weak spot of the Stahlhelm, because if anything hits there, it has a better chance of going through.
Yep. Why did some Viet Cong use MP40s? Fancy little question.
Because they could get those.
Well, after World War II, Germany was kind of under the control of the Western Allies, Free France, Great Britain, and the United States. And they were trying to figure out ways to make money and also disarm Germany. So they were selling all these weapons to different countries and stuff.
Yes.
And
anyone who would buy them.
So. Right. And there was a shitload of people who bought them in China and North Vietnam, or what is now, or what was later known as North Vietnam. And they bought them, they paid cash for them, and it was a common caliber, and they used them throughout the entire Vietnam War.
Exactly. So, and you also see a ton of them sent to Israel too. When Israel was formed,
Israel used basically every German weapon in World War II. They used the Sturmgewehr, the MP40, the MG34, the MG42, the FG42, the K98, the G41, G33.
Yep, because that's what was available. So.
No, it wasn't hard to bring stuff back. I had to get authorization from my commander, and then the Postal Service was like, okay, fine. a little sheet that gets signed and all that
Yep,
shit.
you fill out a sheet.
And no, I brought a bunch of cool shit back.
What if World War III happened?
What if like aliens actually weren't aliens and like they were like us and then this happened? Like the world happened, bruh.
Our Kevlar helmet's illegal in Canada? No, they're not illegal to own. So if you can get one, you can have one. But you cannot ship one. You cannot send one internationally. You can't do anything. So you can own Kevlar in Canada. You could also own CAD-PAD in Canada. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You could own actual CAD-PAD in Canada. You can own an actual CG634 in Canada. But the second you try to send it to someone or try to sell it, then it becomes illegal. So.
No, I don't think it was. Well, no, I take that back. It very well could have been actually inspired by the U.S. Model 5, the Liberty helmet, for those of you who don't know the Model 5 is.
Why did we change from the Pasgat helmet to the newer ones? Well, you kind of see the same thing. Why did Germany upgrade from the M16 style Stahlhelm to the M35 style Stahlhelm? It's because they realized they didn't need all of that coverage in the new type of battlefield, so you cut it back to save weight and material.
Oh, God. This one will take a while for you to answer.
What are gun regulations like in Canada? Not too different from the United States, actually. It's very, very hard to get a handgun in Canada. But as far as buying any semi-automatic rifle or assault rifle or anything like that is very, very hard to get in Canada. But basically any hunting weapon you can get relatively easily.
So it's actually a lot harder in Canada to buy a firearm.
Yeah, so
that we
you could
can
buy
hear.
bolt-action weapons, semi-automatic hunting rifles that are of like looking like a hunting rifle, so not like magazine fed. If it has like a tube or something, you could still get one of those pretty easy, and shotguns and other stuff.
I have to interrupt. Open bolt semis illegal in the U.S. You have got to be fucking trolling me right now. If you're not, I apologize, but like, actually, I don't apologize because like, open bolt semis. What? Do you know anything about guns, dude? Like, okay. Oh, this guy's here. World War II History 101. This guy's been a long time viewer.
Oh man. Tech 9.
The only reason everybody wants a Tech 9 is because Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold decided to use a couple of them. Actually, just one.
They're not that great of a weapon, to be honest. They're quite hard to control.
Right. And they're really jam prone. A Tech 9 is not an open bolt semi, is it?
The Tech 9 originally was just automatic. It was kind of like an Uzi.
Yeah, but like the semi would be a closed bolt, correct?
Yeah, most semi-automatic weapons are closed bolt. There's not very many
serious question. How
weapons
many
that are open bolt
variants of the U.S. Army Standard Infantry uniform were used? Oh Christ! Also situational dependent.
Yeah, there's crap tons, and then you run into the whole thing of like Vietnam, where you see people with Gen 1 pants and like later type jackets and stuff, and then you
which
have
is what I have actually.
Cold wear stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you have to look at the mountain troops and people with specialized equipment and cold weather gear and camouflage and all this other stuff. There's almost limitless possibilities. There's probably at least 100 different variations that could exist.
Well, Elias wants me to, on a scale from 1 to 10, rate an M14.
For what?
I don't fucking know. I've never fucking held one or shot one.
I've shot one, but For what? Like, what am I doing with it? Am I trying to clear rooms with it? Am I trying to shoot a guy 2 miles away? For what?
All right, Navislav, Retro Brunhouse M16. Why don't you do a little bit of waiting until I release my video tomorrow, and might want to rethink the Total Repro M16.
Coolest thing in your military surplus. Probably the coolest thing I have in military surplus is I got a couple different multi-tools, and those are pretty great because you could actually use them today. Panzer III or Sherman M4A1. I'm not familiar with tanks, so I don't know.
Oh, what's the question?
Is a Panzer III or Sherman M4A1? Which one do you prefer?
What model of Panzer III?
Exactly. Clear a room with an M14. You could clear a room with an M14. You're gonna be fucking deaf, but you could do it.
Nah,
also, if you want to shoot people through walls,
you could fucking do it, Devin. Good God.
You could do it, but there's better weapons out there for it. You could still do it, but people cleared rooms with bolt-action rifles in fucking World War II and
Dude, I'll clear a room with a goddamn M2. Like, your little stance there is just typical Canadian bullshit. Like, well, no, you gotta have the shortest possible weapon. Let's have a Sten, and then we're gonna clear a fucking room with a Sten or a Sterling.
Sterling's all right, but number one mil surplus to invest in. Like,
oh my God,
money or to like use?
Why don't you just watch my goddamn video tomorrow? How about that? Intent.
I'm using original items in reenacting. Well, there's two kinds of reenacting. There's like reenacting to teach, and then there's reenacting to like pretend war with. You shouldn't use originals to pretend war with, but if you're just like wearing something that's original for the purposes of teaching, but you're being gentle with it, by all means, because that's going to be the best representation, is wearing an original. But if you're going to go out and like dive into mud and stuff in an original, you shouldn't do that. That's going to ruin history. Clear a room with a 50 BMG.
Done it. It's fucking awesome.
What you want to get is you just want to get like a saw and just have that 200 round mag that you could just pour through walls and you just have to go through the door and wave it around a lot and hopefully kill everyone in the building.
I don't know. I watched dudes clear rooms in training with a 240 Bravo, and it sucked. It was loud, but you can do it.
You can do it. So, or we could just wait, have somebody get something on the phone, and then wait 10 minutes and just have a cruise missile hit the build. Same difference. The protective color flag. Oh, never mind. He just retracted it.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, when I'm wearing my U.S. gear for reenacting in the field in front of people, a bit more comfortable than wearing it because it won't be as intense. As long as you're not destroying history. If you think you're going to destroy history, don't wear it.
Tacticals are one of the gayest fucking things I've ever heard of. Like, I wanted to do some, and I tried some, and it's what it is. Never mind. Yeah. I'm not gonna go into that. Nope.
Yeah.
Also, like a fucking elitist asshole, and I don't want to do that. I'm sorry, guys.
The best helmet to get. Start with probably Soviet bloc stuff. That's relatively cheap and
We've got Hungarian
available.
M70s on the site for like 20-some bucks.
Yeah.
And I'll be getting more helmets. Just sign up for the newsletter on the site and all that shit. Who was best army in World War II, or who was the best army? Oh, God damn.
I'm gonna say the Brazilians.
Yes.
Yep, Brazilian army, best army in World War II, hands down. Their casualty to kill rate, best by far, because they hardly lost anyone.
Yeah, true.
So,
Oh, somebody bought that Marine helmet. The Dutch Marine helmet.
already?
Yeah, it's gone.
Damn.
That's a fucking awesome piece, though, dude.
That
I was
was a
like,
pretty sweet freaking piece.
I was honestly like going, do I keep this? Or I was like, nope, gotta grow the business.
Yep, gotta
Yep.
get rid of it before I get too attached.
Fuck.
So.
The only reason I was like, oh, how much shovel? Oh, he said it's German. Oh my God. Everybody fucking does German World War II.
Yeah.
Of course. Elias.
Denmark had the best army.
The fucking Danes lasted literally 2.5 days.
Yeah.
Against the Germans. Like, that's cute. Very cute.
Switzerland did not have the best army in World War II. They would have lost had they been invaded, and they knew
Oh, Christ, yes.
So. What about France in World War II?
France actually had a pretty good fucking military, to be honest.
Well, at the beginning of World War II, France was considered to have the best army in the world, and it came as such a shock to everyone when they lost so fast.
Well, their leadership sucked more than a couple taints in their fucking exploits. And no, if they would have actually had better leadership, who would have invested the actual technology they had available to them in the French army? The Germans probably about a 70% chance would have not actually invaded France at all, and it would have taken a hell of a lot longer to actually take over the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
But their government officials and leadership refused to invest in the military.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, it's going to be like World War I, land attack.
Yep. And it was kind of that also thing where it's like, no, nobody's stupid enough to invade us because, World War I was so bad and nobody wants to go through that again.
Yep.
Yep, Mike is wearing VSR 93. A challenge for Italy. Pick a side on World War II and stay on it.
I would have picked Yugoslavia.
Yeah, Yugoslavia was a very understated fighting force in World War II. Even though their country was overrun, they had one of the best guerrilla tactic campaigns against the German army in the whole war.
Their regular army was the best at guerrilla tactics. So it's like, that's insane.
Yeah, they did some damage. They tied up a lot of German soldiers for the whole war. So.
Right. And they were fighting, it was also kind of a civil war because they were fighting the Chetniks.
Yeah.
Yep.
The French used World War I strats. Well, yeah, but by the end of World War I, the strategy was World War II, basically.
Nope, they didn't use World War I strats. They actually didn't. The British were the worst for that in early World War II.
Were dumb.
Yep. So the French actually, they requisitioned many times. They were like, okay, we need money for radios in our tanks, technology, all that shit, like communication, essentially.
Yeah, we need to modernize, and they didn't.
Right. And they were like, no, you guys are fine. You guys have signal flags. And the Germans came. They had faster tanks with radios in them, The French had heavier tanks, which the Germans had to work to take out, but they only had signal flags to like tell the other guys what they were doing.
Yep.
Big time flaw. They punched through and broke behind the Maginot Line, and that's in a very short, abridged version how they were so victorious.
Yes. At least the British, at least the French still had like developed their tanks to some degree. The British were still at the beginning of World War II very heavily standard on the riflemen. So
yeah, the riflemen and the charge, like
yeah.
And then they had the tanks that were designed for trench warfare, and it's like
yeah, and like infantry support instead of actually being a tank. The infantryman was like the backbone of the British Army at the beginning of World War II. So World War II was only in Europe. The US did everything. What about the Pacific campaign?
oh my god, I can't believe you fucking fell for that. Like, I'm dumb and I didn't fall for that. Who had the best rifle in World War II? Again, situational as fuck. But I'd say for the longest period, rifle compared to everybody else's rifle, the Americans.
Yeah. The M1
They had a
Garand was leaps and
semi-automatic.
bounds ahead of everyone else's.
Yep. Had they originally gone with the original plan and put the 20-round box magazine, the BAR magazine, on every M1, that war would have been over a hell of a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Well, probably about a day sooner.
Yeah, really. a day sooner, yeah.
You know, but
thoughts on early war Poland? Poland got railed. They got a raw deal.
So. Oh my god! All right. So, Josh, see, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm getting sick of this fucking question. Yes, I've seen the Ken Burns documentary on PBS, the Vietnam War. I paid for it for a college course, like as part of it. It was relevant to it. What the fuck is this spot on my face? Oh, the fucking lights. All right, let me try and. All right.
I was gonna say, I think it's just light pollution.
So, no, I paid for this bitch before it actually came out. I was not a fan of it. It was very political, like extremely political. And there was some good substance in there. Like you could learn some things, but it was so fucking biased and political. It was like I was watching a CNN documentary on the Vietnam War. So I didn't really care for it that much.
Exactly. It wasn't so much on the war as everything behind the war.
And here's the problem is if he was going with the angle that he was going in, okay, of like, exposing all this shit and just, it's really raw. He did not mention the Hmong more than 3.5 minutes out of the entire series. The Hmong in Laos fought the North Vietnamese and Viet Cong as much, if not more, than we did.
Yeah, they lost a shit ton of people.
Dude, they lost as many as we did. And the thing is the Laotians, the Hmong people in general, they said, we don't mind dying because for every one of us that's killed, it means one American doesn't have to be killed. Insane ally that we fucked over big time.
Mm-hmm.
But that was never mentioned in the entire Ken Burns documentary.
Well, that's because the U.S. wants to make themselves as this like angel, even though we fuck up a lot.
Dude, we fuck up a lot. And the only reason I know this shit is because I knew and actually served with a lot of Hmong people. Okay? And we get bored and you talk about shit, and they found out I like history, and we talk about this stuff, and they tell me these things, and I go and fact check them, quote unquote, like the New York Times and Huffington Post does. Except I actually just did empirical research, and it's insane. Like the Hmong people, the Laotian people, like my God, they had their own war. Like it's a fucking insane. And then after we left in 1975, right?
Yeah.
Dude, these people spent another 20 years pretty much in purgatory, either in camps in Thailand, okay, or still in Vietnam being tortured and persecuted. It's just fucking insane, right? So
And
long
that's
story
why
short,
we took so many of them too later. Like you see in the 80s and 90s, we took so
right,
many of them as refugees as kind of
right.
payback for what they did for us.
Well, it was a little bit, a day late and a couple fucking
Yeah.
dollars short. But no, it's insane. Like, see, I know that, and I appreciate that history because I've, made a personal connection and everything.
Mhm.
And it was okay. Honestly, I didn't even think it was that part of a big part of the Vietnam War until I heard like the consistent stories
Yeah.
of people's like, dads and grandfathers or uncles or whatever. And I'm like, really? What? That sounds like a lot of fighting. How
Yeah.
really involved were you guys? And they're like, we were as involved as you guys were. We were preventing them
Exactly.
from
And we
coming
got to
down.
learn that, by the way, because Minnesota and Wisconsin took
Yeah,
back
the
when me
majority
and
of
you
them.
were kind of
Yep.
There used to be a ton of them here. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like it's insane. But yeah, so anyway, I sidetracked a lot. This is like a fucking Joe Rogan podcast.
exactly.
Like all right, I'm not Alex Jones, I swear to God. But
I swear to God.
no, I didn't like the Ken Burns documentary overall because I mean it displayed a lot of cool shit and whatever, and I enjoyed the soundtrack was pretty good. But I just hated the way it was so anti-war and political and driven that way. We get it. The war sucked. You didn't have to make the whole thing about that.
Yeah.
Elaborate why it sucked and why people thought it sucked. But do more of like just explaining the why,
Yeah.
not your opinion, That's what history is. It's not the dates and names and everything. That's all written down for reference, It's explaining why did this happen? How did this happen? Okay. So how and the why they really go together. And I didn't think Ken Burns did that very well. I think he capitalized on the most basic surface level knowledge of the Vietnam
Yep.
War rather, and made it super political. And I did not appreciate that. So, all right, end of story on that.
All of his documentaries are that way. Even the Civil War one is very political.
Well, see, I don't know much. I don't know much in depth about the American Civil War, which is why I didn't comment on that. So I don't know.
Yeah, his Civil War documentary goes into basically it's like a 2-hour documentary on slavery instead of the actual Civil War. It's not good.
Slavery was not the reason the North fought the war. I know that much.
No. Everyone likes to think it was that way, and most Americans are taught that in high school. But it's all about preserving the Union in the end, states' rights versus federal rights.
It was a bunch of ideals floating back and forth, is what it was. So, yeah, no, I didn't mean to quit Alex Jones, you guys, but I'm related to a Vietnam vet. He's a Canadian. They went down to, I believe, Boston and joined the Navy. Should I get over my nervousness about mentioning him? Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know, Josh. Like,
yeah, it's situational. Some people don't want to
chickens
talk
have
about
large
it.
talons.
Yeah.
Like,
the South just wanted to be free. Not really. The South would have happily stayed in the Union if there would have been.
Well, the Union wasn't exactly being the good guys either. Like they were being assholes, just politically.
They were gonna totally ruin the South if they stayed. So, economically ruin the South. I mean, so.
Oh, kill dude. Fucking this guy. That's a new dude, but like, yeah. The South was fighting for their perceived rights. I like that word, perceived. Correct.
Yes.
They were. Mike, could you show us a bit of your collection? No. Would I move? Yes. And I've shown you a lot of my collection in my videos, bud.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to go through
back. I get that question all the time, and I'm like, I have a YouTube channel for a reason.
Yep. My granduncle was in the Civil War, Union Army. Congrats. Thank you for your vicarious service. The rebel flag. You mean the...
Not even the rebel flag.
The half Tennessee/Virginia battle flag?
Yeah.
Because they couldn't come up with an actual flag because they were so fucking stupid?
The rebel flag's actually entirely different. It actually looks basically like the Georgia state flag. So.
Well, they actually never adopted one, which is the funniest part.
No, they had an actual Confederate flag, and it was a red, a white, and a red stripe, and a blue vertical rectangle on the left. It was basically the Georgia state flag, but like the Confederate flag that we know today that everyone's getting pissed off about is the flag of the Army of Northern Virginia.
Yeah, and then Tennessee adopted a little bit of that. Yeah, it's no, I agree with that, but like Southern Cross is a battle flag's name.
I've heard it referred to as 50 different things. Yeah.
The Southern Cross is the fucking constellation series of stars that navigates you in the southern hemisphere of the world rather, with the United States. Yeah. I'm being xenophobic. Sorry. The Southern Cross is the constellation in the sky that will always navigate you to the south in the southern hemisphere of the world. Not the fucking battle flag's name. Just throwing that out there. Devin, what do you think?
I didn't even know that. That's cool to learn. I'm not a big astrology guy. I don't like space. Same reason I don't like ocean. It's empty. I don't like it.
But it's cool be an infantry dude. You get some squad leaders that were fucking special forces, and they're like, "Hey, we're sitting up here on this hill tonight. Yep, we are. It's cold. You know where we are? Nope. Why don't you look up? Okay. What do you see? Stars. Yeah, well, what do you see? Fucking stars. Well, yeah. Here's the cool thing. He told us the Big Dipper thing, you know, the stuff like 7 lengths. And he's like, but if you go down to the southern hemisphere, the Southern Cross, they all talk about, and he showed us that shit.
Yeah.
He's like, you can see it from up here, but it's not as bright. He was like, that one, when you're in the southern hemisphere, that is where it points south. So you go there, straight back is north, bam, Southern Cross. And I'm like, I love that song. And he goes, me too, but yeah, here.
me too, but yeah. Special Forces guys are so fucking chill. It's creepy. I don't like it.
Yeah, and he was an old dude, man. He was Special Forces in Desert Storm. This is an old dude. Yeah. Old fucking school. And yeah, he was telling us all this shit. So yeah. That's how I learned that. You can navigate with the stars. Also, Mike, do you know a lot about Vietnam? My question is, why would a seaman be in combat? I never asked him about why he's a lot of Navy guys were in combat in Vietnam. A lot of Navy guys.
Yeah. The most common Navy guys you'll see in combat are actually corpsmen. They're attached to Marine Corps units. Marine Corps does not train their own medics.
That's the first biggest. Second biggest, fast boats, swift boats, South Vietnam, Mekong Delta, with the 9th Infantry Division.
Yep. So, and then you actually see a lot more Coast Guard guys in Vietnam than Navy personnel because the Navy doesn't have authorization to operate in intercoastal waters.
Man, the comments got really fucking shitty.
Yeah, they did. You guys were doing so good. I was so proud of you guys.
Dude, I haven't pissed once in this entire fucking podcast.
I know, right? Normally you're the kitten bladder.
But I gotta do it now. You gotta go?
Huh? No, I'm set. I can keeping these guys entertained if you want to go.
You just got a little hose there you're pissing in, right?
No. I do have a lot of helmets beneath me though.
No, it's not a goddamn state trooper hat. Jesus fucking Christ. I'll put it on when I get back.
Over that.
I'm gonna take a piss.
Yeah. All right, you do Jesus. That. It's not a state trooper fucking hat. People. It's the Montana peaked campaign hat. So But it's the closest mess tin you sell that's like the World War II one. Well, they basically kept making them unchanged. East German and West German, you could still get them for pretty cheap. I will say this fun fact about a helmet. So an M1 helmet, like if you just take the shell, it holds almost an entire box of cereal and a half gallon of milk just about perfectly. So if you want to eat a lot of cereal at once. I'm pretty chill. So that's just the kind of person I am. A lot of people tell me I'm not big into the whole astrological sign things, but I'm a Gemini, so apparently we're all pretty fucking chill. My preferred joke on the French army, that we shouldn't joke about them because they're actually a pretty decent fighting force and they did the best with what they had, but they keep getting hamstringed by their government. But they've also made pretty much every great military innovation for the last 200 years. They didn't really use lead paint on the M1s, so you can eat out. Yeah, I don't really like the U.S. mess tins either. I really, really like the Swedish ones. I have a lot of Swedish ones, so. Stop using logic. I don't know if I could do that. Oh, there we go. Vichy France did make some stuff. They didn't really have the capacity to mass issue everything. You basically see them get a conglomeration of American and British equipment for the most part.
There. Not a state trooper hat at all. What is my cat's name? Not my cat's. No, not a state trooper hat. Penis. Literally, beaver skin, OD, freaking made with the stitching,
Yeah.
all that shit. The blue infantry fucking acorns. World War I, campaign hat, infantry.
Did Ceradine ever post a video of the ECH ballistic test? No, they did not. So they kept that up. That's still a pretty big secret, actually, on the actual limits of the ECH because it's current issue. They're keeping that stuff very under their hat.
So what you're saying is we should grab the ECH and shoot the fuck out of it with a bunch of different calibers. Yeah, we'd be the first
ones to do it. I have some ins with the people that actually make the ECH, so I know some more about it than probably most people. But yeah, you have one now that you get to keep, so you have the other one you could shoot. Oh no, never mind. I bought a Pazgat, an ACH, and an ECH to shoot. Remember that? I still have those.
I was gonna say the ones that you've given me are not ones that I want to shoot. That's a problem.
Yeah, no, I have one that we could shoot. So I have an extra small one. So. Did I eat cereal from an M1? Yes, because it holds almost an entire box of cereal and a half gallon of milk.
M1 helmet?
Yeah, the shell. It holds almost a whole box of cereal, Mike. If you want to just sit down in your tent, you could eat a whole box of cereal and a half gallon of milk in one sitting. You don't have to get up all the time.
I'm just too busy being a state fucking trooper here with a fucking M1910 campaign hat on.
Ballistic test on the state trooper hat. A BB gun could probably go through that.
No, it wouldn't. Fuck that.
Depends on how many pumps you can get in there, right?
No way. Oh man, I should show you this bitch. You should have felt this thing. This thing is handmade by an expert hat maker who is now retired. All right, I won't wear it all state trooper like. I'll wear it how the actual soldiers wore it in World War I.
All cocked over to one side, so you could still look down your.
No, it's just an American hat, man. Hey, dude, how's it going, man? Here.
Yeah, it's literally called the Smoky Bear and the Montana Peak. It's
the thing is
one of the most iconic American hats.
All right, so to the viewers, all right, this is the American Montana Peak. The Canadian one is rotated about 45 degrees, so you'd have a gap in the front, sides, and back instead of the pinches in the front, sides, and back.
Yeah.
That's how you tell a Canadian from an American, like wearing the same style hat, because we wore the same style hat. Good hat, actually.
It is. It's a pretty great hat. I wish I had one because, well, I have a Canadian one, but it's not like an actual Canadian one. And they're pretty good hats. There's a reason why pretty much everyone in the West wore a style like that, and why it continues to be used by drill instructors and stuff today. For one, it's an icon, and it's also a really good piece of headgear for pretty much any weather type.
Yep. But I'm going to tilt it down just for nostalgia for my sake.
What's the cheapest you spend on an SSH? I'm guessing you mean like the 68M or N. Well, there isn't a ton of them out there, and there's even less in America. So they're pretty hard to find, and you'll spend easily multiple hundreds of dollars buying one. So I do recommend the N over the M, though, because the liner is much more comfortable.
No key thick. Absolutely. Javier Geraldo.
How come you get all the fangirls and nobody likes me?
Dude, I'm a fat fucking stud. That's how I roll.
But I'm Canadian. I'm exotic here in America.
Dude, this is the Army drill sergeant bullshit. I didn't actually think I was hiding my eyes. I thought I was just like wearing it low.
Yeah.
God damn it. So you can see out of this shit. That's why they fucked us up so bad when they were. I was like, how can you see? You're just like going on autopilot. But no.
They can see, yeah.
Damn, they can see. I can see a lot. Okay. Insane.
So, and the drill sergeant one's a little different. They have a ribbon around it. They don't have the acorns.
Yeah, correct. Brown round. They actually put this like glue shit on the bottom of it to make the brim really fucking rigid. And they threw it on my bunk one night. That was fun. But Letterwood's pit, please stop. You are a goddamn pogue. Did you just admitted it?
Yeah. Banning or nothing.
No one's got a fucking question for you, Devin.
Oh.
Devin, Anon's got a question.
Which one? Is it back-a-wise?
No, it's like 3 up. Yet.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm not seeing anything from Anon.
It says, Devin, who would win in a fist fight? Otheus from CNR Arsenal or Mike?
I don't know how good either of your combat abilities are hand to hand. So
fair and yet very Canadian response.
So I need to see you guys train at least once before I could make a decision, before I place my bets. So yeah, I don't have that comment at all in my feed.
You're such a goddamn pussy ass Canadian. Like, seriously.
It's not in there. I'm even scrolling back. I'm not seeing it. The last thing I have is from Mike giving me flashbacks about Leonard Wood's pit. Please stop. That's the last one I have.
Leonard Wood's pit. Please stop. Shit, yeah, because his comment's the next one. Literally the next one after that.
No, see, that's as far as I got, so mine's not updated.
Refresh it.
No, that's still the last one I got.
maybe we got banned and we're just kind of lagging out here.
Oh, they're probably like, all these guys, they're spreading the word about how the U.S. government's fucked up before. Oh, kids don't know how to Google. Here, maybe if I type something, it'll work.
who Tyus is. I've seen some of CNR Arsenal's videos. Like, I don't know if I have a problem with that guy. Like, I actually probably wouldn't hit him.
No, he's pretty chill.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does too. So
dude, he needs to stop making videos of his
guy.
wife like being this like emotionless fucking like vapid being. Like, she could say some shit. Like, she fires an anti-tank rifle, she just goes
Is that his wife?
yeah, wife, girlfriend, whatever, significant other. She could be like, boom, holy fuck, you know.
Yeah,
that would be fun. But like, yeah, just that it's a mild irritation. It's not even a real irritation. It's just kind of like,
yeah.
now I gotta checked out for sensory fucking deprivation. Oh, May is his sister.
Is it? I see. I didn't know their relation. So. Oh, now I got comments flying in. Holy shit!
Jesus, what the fuck, Devin? Like, your technology shit should be like absolutely
Do a
fucking.
collab with Hickok45. He hasn't posted anything in like almost.
I will never ever collaborate with him. Like, sorry, will not.
My nice ceiling fan. I got LED lights in it, so it's bright as shit.
Nope, don't turn it on.
Mike, can you do a Hank Hill impression?
Hank Hill?
Yeah.
Not a very good one.
Ah! That's about all I can do with him.
Oh!
Panic scream.
Dang it, Balby.
I do have a channel. But Mike is not bullying you for anything that you don't deserve. So.
Oh my god. Is this really getting retarded like this early?
Good night, Josh. I actually live in Minnesota, so I don't have Canadian internet. You sell surplus and surplus accessories?
Listen here, Devin. We sell military surplus and surplus accessories. Dang it, Devin.
You could use that as one of your next promotions for your business.
What a fucking t-shirt, like. We sell surplus and surplus accessories.
It'll just be you and your state trooper hat.
Oh shit, no.
Yeah. Minnesota is basically Canada. So that's what we're roped in with a lot.
Just guns? Jordan?
Yeah, basically.
I appreciate that, Darcy. You come up before. I'll fucking second that, yes. Wisconsin is a step below that because we don't technically border Canada because of the fucking Great Lake they called Gitchigumi. But we have less gun laws than fucking Minnesota, so.
Yeah, Minnesota is actually a very liberal state, and they kind of fuck us over. Even though there's really only like 2 cities that have most of the population. Everywhere else that isn't those 2 cities is like uber conservative, but since those 2 cities have like 2/3 of the population.
Dude, with those cities though, man, honestly, those cities are literally the second most liberal leftist goddamn place in the country.
Yeah, right behind
like,
LA.
Not exaggerating at all. Like,
yeah, it's LA and then it's St. Paul and Minneapolis as far as liberalness goes.
It beats out New York, I think, because
yeah,
it's just fucking nuts.
And we're also a sanctuary state, so we have fuck tons of every kind of refugee imaginable. So, and they all vote liberal because they're being ushered here for free and giving everything for free by the liberals.
Right. Yeah. So, Mitch, you don't like politics, like just fucking good God. You sat through fucking how many hours of this? Like, we live here. We experience it every day. We're gonna bitch about it. Like, I'm a
Gonna
fucking
need you to
libertarian.
take it down a notch.
Yeah. You're all right, buddy.
Ton of Romanians. I don't think they're refugees though. I think they're just people.
Romanian chicks are hot though. So,
Yeah, they are.
oh man.
Anything Eastern Europe is hot. Man.
Yeah.
So
Maybe I would think for the Slavic kind of.
they
But,
build them really well.
but
I
dude,
will say that.
I also like tall fucking hot blondes. So,
Yeah, well, that's like northern Eastern Europe. That's like getting into Sweden and Finland and like the
oh
Baltic
shit.
states. Man.
So you're calling Scandinavia Eastern Europe, Northern Eastern Europe?
Well, if you look at Europe on a map, that would like if you cut it in half. There.
Hmm. That's pretty
So,
racist.
I mean, I'm technically an American now, so I mean, I gotta fit in somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I thought I was doing a pretty good job blending in.
Todd B, I don't have a question, or I don't have an answer to your question. I don't fucking know.
Why did U.S. officers wear those lame, tall, white helmets during the Boxer Rebellion and Philippine Wars?
I don't know. Like I don't have an answer to that.
So, yeah, no idea.
Okay, so there's Mitch who was bitching about the politics. What are your thoughts on unique helmet covers? I've been seeing there are a lot of mosquitoes nets cover for Eastern.
It's whatever.
Their helmet covers like
Mm-hmm.
they're pieces of cloth. Like I don't know.
Oh,
Oh
I'm a
no!
racist against
Oh,
Europeans.
he just called you out. He just called you out, bro.
I'm only like a second generation away from European. So my mom was born in Europe. All right. My dad missed being born in Europe by like a year. So
That's why I get that weird vibe around you. Like, oh, that explains a lot.
yeah. So
Fucking Euro trash. That's what
I'm
you
Euro
are.
trash. My
Yep.
mom is 100% Russian. So
Здравствуйте.
yeah, she snaps into it when I make her mad. Still, it's kind of funny. So
But you know, I'll make a video on how to make a helmet cover. Jesus Christ.
why would you
No.
make a helmet cover when like paint and dirt exists?
Yes. Oh, thank
Paint
you.
and dirt are going to be so much better than a helmet cover anyway.
See, I didn't know how to respond to that, and that's why we got you on, Devin. It's amazing.
So literally, if you just take your helmet and you just cover it in like crazy glue or some shit and then throw it outside into your yard, best camouflage ever.
My dad beats me in Ohio range from time to time. Cool. Like said, helmets are so affordable. You know, get an M16, draw a fucking skull on it. Well, that's Frycore. No.
Yeah.
Right, sir. Just get a German M16.
Yeah, just get an M16.
Oh, actually, good question, Navislav. Why don't you cover this, Devin?
Those early USGI OD green helmet covers. Well, it's basically there because they had fabric out of it and they didn't see a use to break up the silhouette of the M1 yet for the current times of the battlefield, and then later they moved on to different camouflage ones. So the Marines never adopted a OD green helmet cover. They went right from frog skin to like Mitchell and vine leaf. But the U.S. Army for a time did adopt the green helmet cover just for one to be different because the U.S. likes to have everyone look slightly different, and because it was fabric they had available. Other than that, there really wasn't a purpose to it. The helmet cover on the M1 helmet only really had one purpose, and it was kind of to protect the finish on the helmet and to keep it from being shiny when it was wet. I'm not saying put like 15 pounds of dirt on your helmet. Yes, dirt is heavy, but like if you just put grease or glue on your helmet or something and just put a light layer of dirt on it, it's going to be better than any camouflage helmet cover you can get out there. Throwing dirt and grass on your helmet is going to work way better than any camouflage.
Weird.
Yeah, because dirt and grass are present in nature. So if you put the environment on your helmet, it's going to blend into the environment, whereas camouflage is just designed to look like nature.
Okay, hold
It's
on.
not
Roger
actual nature.
Scott, Lieutenant Dan had one in Forrest Gump. No, he fucking didn't. He wore a Mitchell pattern cover. Look closely. No, it was not an OD cover.
So you don't really see any OD covers after like 1962, I believe. And even then, Marine Corps personnel, you never saw them with Marine Corps personnel. It would have been only Army personnel stationed in Vietnam from like the mid 50s to early 60s, and then they pretty much all go away. Have either of you eaten old rations? Yes, I've eaten some rations that are like 30 years old, and they were okay.
Nope. I'm not suicidal.
So I'll eat pretty much anything. There was at one point where I had some of my YouTube followers, like in the early part of my channel, I really like food and stuff like that. So I had a lot of people were like sending me candy and shit from other countries, and I ate all of it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I really like the. If you guys want to send me MREs, I'll eat MREs from around the world, but I'm not gonna buy any. So I really like the Russian ones because they have like liver pate and shit in them. I like that shit. That's good.
Heck. Cat food.
Yeah,
Literally.
basically. They have a
Dude,
lot
there
of
was a
cat food.
thing, like, you can actually look this up on YouTube. Like, people were given liver pate and an MRE, and they said the MRE was like, oh, that's actually really good pate. Blind test. It's like, whatever, okay. And they were given pate and cat food.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, they're like, no, it's actually quite good. It's cat food, dipshit.
Which country has the best chocolate? I've had chocolate from a lot of countries, and it really comes down to personal preference. I really don't like American chocolate. American chocolate is way overly sweet
Well,
and
okay,
milky, and it's not good.
you mean North
But
American chocolate?
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, but I probably out of all the European chocolates, I'd probably have to say Switzerland. So I really like Swiss chocolate,
I like
but
Belgian chocolate, but that's for
I'm not a
milk
big
chocolate.
sugar fan. So
Yeah, same here. I'm a savory nigger.
yeah,
Or oh shit, I'm going to delete this whole stream now. I was quoting Ron Funch, comedian, and yeah, I'm actually delete the stream now.
no, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I like savory things. And South American dark chocolate, like 93% or 95%. It's
Yeah,
got a consistency where it's like creamy and delicious.
yeah. I like really, really dark chocolate as well, to the point where it almost gets kind of bitter.
Right, where it's just about there, but it's still
Yeah,
like savory,
yeah.
like it's
Hmm.
good, you know?
So, oh, the N word. Oh, it's America. It's not like anyone's ever heard it. Go listen to some rap music if you have a problem with it. Um, do
Yeah,
you
you're
like
right.
Taco Bell? I love Taco Bell. I can get a shit ton of diarrhea-inducing food for very cheap.
Yep. Have not had Taco Bell in years. Probably will never eat it for the rest of my life.
It's so great when you're piss drunk. That's about the only time I get it anymore
No,
because they're
no,
open
no,
all
no,
night.
no, no. Because that makes it worse.
Yeah, I'd go there. That's my go-to when I'm pissed drunk. So, Taco Bell. I love
Do I like
sushi actually.
sushi? I love sushi. Good sushi.
Sushi's great,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm very picky because I don't like the taste of fish. I don't like that like fucking like freshwater fish taste.
Yeah.
Sushi, good sushi doesn't have that. It just
No,
tastes
good
like,
sushi is a very good balance of a ton of different flavors, and it's
dude.
very
And I've
enjoyable.
had what's that sushi called? It's just it's god damn, it's all like protein. It's not rice or anything. It's something she. Anyway, tried that. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like
That's
sushi was originally like what they fed the fucking port workers, just like porter beer. They
Yeah,
fed the port workers in Japan what the hell they had left over. It was all raw. And they're all
exactly. Yeah.
drinking and shit. And it was like this poor man's food.
Hmm.
And then it became an art.
That's right.
Marine
Just
tea
like
pad.
lobster. Lobster used to be fed to prisoners, and they would complain if they got it more than once a week in
Right.
America, and now it's like a luxury dish.
And caviar. Caviar is another one. And yeah, Mitch, I'll get to your question in a second about tea pattern because I love that pattern. But
Yeah,
uh caviar
I
was
love
something that
caviar.
in the late 1800s was served in US bars almost free, kind of like peanuts, but
Yeah,
they couldn't get rid of it fast enough. And it was like kind of served as drum cheese.
yeah.
And then you fast forward and we kill all the sturgeon, all the eggs, all that shit, and it becomes a
Hmm.
commodity. Weird.
Yeah, I really like caviar. I like Osteria caviar.
Never had it. Never had it. Never had it. Therefore, I'm not going
It's
to
very
comment on the
expensive,
taste of
but it's
it.
really good.
I just don't like fish. I'm afraid it's going to taste like
It
fish.
doesn't taste like fish though.
Okay.
So, cucumber flavored vodka, hard pass. Have I ever
Ick.
been to Cleveland? No. Have I ever been to Texas? Yes, it's hot and I don't like it.
Well, I've been to Texas a few times. Yeah. Lived in Texas for a bit. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like having nothing around me.
T pattern helmet cover conversion for a Pazcat.
Yeah, T pattern, dude. I fucking love that shit. Like, I don't understand why they didn't actually make that a uniform. They chose ACU, but they couldn't pick T pattern for desert/urban environments. Like, man, that was a great pattern.
Any good books on German army etiquette? Well, German army etiquette and standards didn't really change since the Prussian era, basically just the equipment. So you can find multiple books written on that stuff.
Have I tried moonshine? Yes.
Yep,
Uh,
I've had Everclear before.
no, no. Everclear is different than moonshine.
It's corn liquor.
Moonshine, for some odd fucking reason, when you get it from somebody who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who made this, it's actually a lot smoother than Everclear. It's fucking insane. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good stuff. Poison though, absolute
yeah.
poison. Burns. Should not drink it. Good God.
Rommel or Napoleon, they're like the same
Jesus
person but from different countries.
fucking Christ. And Rommel was way more tactful. Rommel had combat experience himself,
Yeah,
which is what I think differentiates himself from
yeah.
Napoleon.
Napoleon was more of a politician than he was a good commander. So,
Right.
but do you know about the US M45 field pack? There's a couple videos on YouTube that do a pretty good example of covering that because it'd be too much to explain.
All right. Well,
Favorite camo pattern?
again, for
Hmm.
what? Very situational. Very situational. Camp pattern. Where? What are we doing? There you go. Kill dude's got it.
Yeah. Do you guys enjoy McDonald's? I didn't before they did everything fresh, but now that they don't do anything frozen, it's better. But I still get a pretty rough case of gut rot from basically any kind of fast food. What's a good snow camo? Pencott makes a really good snow camo.
The
Um,
German
oh
shit that I have in my shop is great. The
yeah, that stuff
reversible
is awesome
shit.
too. I have a set as well of the
Yep.
German stuff, the Schneetarn. You find a dead dragonfly in your burger from McDonald's, that's just extra protein. Shut up and eat it.
Agreed.
It's not going to hurt you. It's not like they're poisonous.
Yeah.
I like that. Best snow camo. White.
What is, yeah.
Yeah. I've eaten a lot of bugs before. I'm not too concerned about.
I don't do bugs.
You don't do bugs? You're just not hungry enough.
Anything with more than 4 legs should not exist. Helmet covers or helmet paint, again, totally situational.
Yeah. I would rather go for neither. Like I said, I'd rather just take a whole shit ton of crazy glue and you smear it all over your helmet and you just throw environment on it. Whatever environment you're in, just and then you get some like solvent, some like Goo Gone, and you wipe the shit off, and then you just next environment do the same thing.
For combat boot for warm, mild, and mixed humidity. I don't know. I got the Oakley fucking 8-inch combat boots when I went to Iraq, and those are fucking amazing boot, but they didn't last long.
Oakley makes some good stuff.
Yeah, but they fucking lasted 3 months of like hardware, which is good, but like
it's that sand. That sand is like, I tell people this like on my boot stuff. I'm like, sand is such a bad thing for boots because the weakest point on a shoe is the stitching usually, and sand is abrasive. It gets into the stitching, and then as you're just moving, it starts to eat away at the stitching, and then they just fall apart. Which is why desert boots normally don't last as long as every other kind of boot because the stitching gets eaten away by the granules of sand that are in the stitching.
So I'm gonna read this. I have a simple question. I actually had in mind, did East German soldiers work with the West German soldiers at some point? Would mean a lot if you answer. Yeah, in 1993, 1992, 93, the Bundeswehr took on a shitload of East German soldiers. And then they worked together. Favorite World War II German helmet painted camo.
What is good underwear and socks to prevent swamp ass during rucks? Don't wear any underwear. Just free ball it. And socks, anything wool of depending on your climate, thick for winter, and I usually go for like thin kind of athletic sock, like a moisture wicking athletic sock for the summer, and then kind of usually a thin or kind of medium weight one over that. I never wear just one pair of socks when I go hiking.
Well, I'm a little bit more hardcore than you then. I only wear one pair of socks. When we were doing rucks for long distance, I would wear, once my boots were broken in, that's a big thing.
That is a very important factor, yeah.
Once they were broken in, I wore probably the thinnest, most comfortable pair of socks in a pair of boots that was amazing, which is my Oakley 8-inch combat tactical assault boots, or whatever the fuck they were called. And it was like literally wearing tennis shoes on a fast walk. It was amazing. So
HBT or wool in nice humid conditions.
HBT
depends on the wool.
Well, yeah,
because you can get some really, really lightweight.
Wool's gonna be heavier in weight. That's the problem. Is like, HBT, even with sweat and all that shit, will weigh less than wool will with sweat.
Exactly. Thick wool. You don't want to wear thick wool in high heat. You're gonna die.
Yeah, it gets bad.
So
you know what is sad? The Woodland BDU is more costly than UCP. So you know, duh, it's military surplus that hasn't been produced in years. That's why I say when I say, hey, you need to get this now. You should probably do
I really like the Woodland pattern. I own a shit ton of it. It's one of my favorite patterns.
It's like I'm not just trying to like fearmonger and Alex Jones type that shit. Like, oh, we're gonna buy Ultra Male Vitality right now. before it's gone. No, it's like literally, hey, guess what? There was only this much of this shit made. You should probably get a bunch of it if you like it while you can. Wear out a bunch of sets, keep one to, have as a collector's item.
Yep.
That's it. So
Nylon stocking material is great for humps. I don't like nylon anything. Nylon's a terrible fabric.
yep, correct. Nope. For socks for humping, a long distance cotton and a wool are the only fucking materials I'll wear.
Yep.
And usually it's layered, but yeah.
Mostly ankle boots for late war here impressions.
I remember a couple years ago back, I could get a woodland BDU blouse for $2 at my local surplus store. Now they charge $18. Again, yes. Supply and demand, guys. Look it up on Google. Just type in supply and demand definition.
Yep.
You
I
guys will
bought
get it.
like 40 sets in my size of US surplus BDUs when I was like 12 years old for as many dollars. It was like $40 to get 40 sets. They were very cheap.
And the cool thing is like guys like Devin, when they were like 12 years old, they didn't grow any more. So like
yeah, I stayed pretty
those
small
sets
the
that
whole
he
time,
bought,
yeah.
they'll still fit him.
So I've been basically the same since 12 years old, yeah. Except now I grow an impressive mustache.
Oh, that thing crawling on your face, yeah. Impressive.
Would you lose your virginity for a box of fatigues? Depends on the box of fatigues. How rare are they?
I think he's like trying to make a pass at like the fatigues that I had, the jungle fatigues.
Oh.
Are they his size or?
Yeah, are they my size and are they of like super rare?
And is the chick hot or is the guy like a little bit
Yeah.
attractive?
Is it a
Like,
dude or is it a chick?
yeah.
How drunk do I have to be? Am I giving or receiving?
Yeah, like there's a. So people ask questions that are just like, I'm gonna type without thinking. Bam. Well, actually,
Third
think about your
patterns.
question.
Third patterns of what? There's tons of different countries that have had third patterns of shit.
He's probably talking about the third pattern fucking jungle fatigues.
I know. I'm counter trolling him by using knowledge.
All right, then I'm gonna shut up and let you do it.
Not. It's a guy in the butt, full sober.
No.
I don't know if there's any fatigues out there that come in a full box. I'd be interested in that.
Here's the thing. For him to get into my store and like actually see the back room, all I asked for him was a hand job. So like he can
That's
get a
true. That was
lot more.
reasonable, yeah.
Right, and he can get a lot more with a lot less.
See? It's
So
all
like
about capitalism, you guys.
one box of third patterns. If you say one warehouse of several thousand boxes, well, Devin would probably lose his V card to a gay guy.
Yeah. But you also have to like go back to like a lot of years ago for that. That ship has sailed for a while.
Best
Yawning
tutorials
is
for switching
intensifying.
breast and color tab. Oh, somebody's doing German World War II. Fuck it. Not even gonna fucking reply that. All right.
Doesn't really matter how you stitch it. Because it was probably done every way possible during the war.
Mike, what bayonet goes to the M16A1? The M7.
Yep.
Like, that was around right after the M14 came out.
You could also say M8 for later.
It's a scabbard, though.
Yeah.
What questions do we have for you as viewers? That's a great fucking question, dude. Honestly.
Yeah. Kill dude, you
Don't usually go
definitely
into this
deserve a
like
medal for this stream today because you've been getting some pretty decent questions in there. Oh. Questions we have for the viewers.
All right, yeah, I have a question. Okay. What do you guys seek to accomplish out of watching this and probably collecting shit? What do you guys actually want to do from it? Your actual intention.
I got a better one. Why are half you guys retarded? I'm not signaling out any specific half. Just, you know who you are.
Worst medal, proudly. Yeah, we didn't issue you a fucking medal, nor will we. So.
It's imaginary.
Yeah, definitely imaginary.
World War I Springfield safe to shoot. The vast majority of them are.
Oh
There's
my
plenty
God.
of videos out there that explain to you which ones are and aren't.
Well, this actually. I did many videos on this. Like, how many 1903s have you heard of that have blown up using regular loads?
Yeah,
In
that
people's
weren't operator
possession.
error. Yeah.
No. Like, literally, how many people have you heard of? Right now, I'm not even saying like evidence wise. Heard of? How many people have you heard of that have shot 1903s and they blew up in their face because of a catastrophic failure?
0.
Weird.
You've heard of 4 people that have had their rifles blow up in their face? You need to take that. All right, I'm not for taking people's guns away, but you need to take those people's guns away.
Well, the cool thing is about it, like Hatcher's notebook says this. Yeah. Well, it also said that they loaded it to 2 to 3 times pressure-wise the normal pressure
Well, then
the
no
1903
shit,
was
yeah.
capable of. Yeah. And they got 68 out of 300 to blow up.
You guys all know why you're here watching this. I bet I know where this is going.
Yeah. I should actually try and go up and read these fuckers because we did ask a question.
Imagine actually believing FUD rumors. Well, there's plenty of people out there that do. That's a pretty good reason because we're answering questions. That's why they came to this.
Yeah, I was just starting through all the other bullshit and like, all right, that's actually fair. Yeah, but the thing is, Riley, they weren't new made rounds. M2 ball's been around since fucking 1908.
Yeah, and most commercial rounds are actually made sub
less.
To actual surplus rounds.
So I can literally take all my mil-cert firearms, figure out the load data for them, upload them by about 100 to 200%, and they actually I'd say literally like liberally about 15 to 20% would fail. Even loading them with like dangerous loads.
Well, a lot of these military actions were designed to handle way more than was actually put in them.
Right.
So we
demand more questions. This Q&A is being taken over by Collective. Viva la viewer base. Well, Jordan, were you asking dumb questions, like retarded ones, or were you asking like quality questions?
Oh man, that's great. On. He said that the viewer's autism has worn us down.
Yeah.
See, that's why you don't get vaccinated, kids.
Do you have any favorite class of ship? Nope.
I'm not a Navy guy, so no.
Well, could you recommend the M88 Afghan Cup or something? Don't know. MF redacted or retracted. Stommel. Have you picked up any military surplus firearms? No.
No,
Uh,
I haven't.
I'm in the process of buying a house. I'm done buying guns for a while. But I have enough that I haven't made videos of where you're going to get some videos.
Yeah.
But
So, and I would if I had all the money in the world, but I'm also trying to save up for shit. So,
the autism is too
favorite
much. What if I
favorite
had
tanker
autism
plane?
and I threw your ass on CNN? Oh, the abstract chicken. Not so abstract now, are we?
Favorite tanker plane? Hmm. Not really a tank guy either, unfortunately. And I also hate flying. Not that I have any fears of it, I just hate flying. How much money do we have invested into military? Well, Mike has a shit ton more than I do, but mine's easily probably up near multi tens of thousands of dollars. So
Oh, Javier or Javier Hiraldo. He's got a question for us all.
the rarest gun I have an actual made for Wells Fargo coach gun. Do you reload your own ammo? If I had more space, I have the stuff to do certain kinds of rounds. But no, I don't currently.
Myself, had you watched a bit of my videos, you would have the answer to that question.
Mike, what's your rarest gun?
I sold it last year. Shit. I had a Turkish fucking M48 cavalry, or not even cavalry, M48 carbine, forestry carbine.
It's a nice gun.
Had one. Had to fucking sell it. Times got tough. But the rarest gun I have, shit, I don't know. My Lebel, 1886-93.
Those are pretty rare.
I've shot that fucker many times. It's actually a beautiful, accurate rifle.
Yeah. People give the French so much shit. They make nice
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't. Like my Moss 36, 1886-93, and 49-56. Man, some of the fucking most accurate, reliable rifles I've ever shot.
Do the Russians still have shit tons of surplus tanks, armor, and guns going back to the 50s? Not really. About as far back as most of their surplus will go will be basically probably to the 80s or 90s now. When did you start collecting Mill Slurp and why, Mike?
Well, do not say this in a video. I was about 7 years old, and I don't know. I just decided to like it one day. Literally,
Pretty
that's what
much,
it was.
pretty much same with me. My shit hit the fan guns.
Vive la France. All right. What's the best, worst officer experience you've had? Eh. Yeah, I'll do that in a different video.
Yeah,
My shit at the fan guns, all of them.
pretty much. I'd want something that's not in the super common caliber, because if you take something in a super common caliber, all the ammo is going to be gone. You want something that people are going to leave, but that you could still find.
Okay, all the above. Back in Nam, Spitz, Pating. How was your time in the Army, Mike? What'd you do? I didn't do a whole hell of a lot. Not that interesting.
Like you said, the Army's a scam.
Who the fuck? Who the fuck knows? Kill dude. How did you know I was infantry? Like, what the fuck did you do to know that? My favorite round to shoot, depending on what I'm doing, I'm getting
Whatever
paid to
one's
shoot
cheapest.
50 cal. But if I'm having to pay for it, 9mm.
Yep, whatever's cheapest.
Yeah. Do I like ruffles? Yes, they don't agree with me though. Carbs don't agree with me in general. I love ruffles. They're delicious.
The M60 is the love child between the 50 cal and the MG42. It's actually based off the
true.
FG42.
Correct.
So, and it's terrible. The FG42 is a pretty great weapon.
Well, the abstract chicken, he's not a German because he said Guten Nacht. It's Gute E only. Guten Nacht. What's the drink I got there? It's Kool-Aid literally mixed with water. What do you think of airsofters and millennials or milsimers who try to make it accurate kids to soldiers and marines? I don't give a fuck. No, my monkey's not my circus.
Yeah.
If combat actually came around, I know they'd die and they'd be like, pissing shit and throwing up at the same time. So fuck
people
them.
are doing it to like experience history. Like I used to do that. I used to try to throw together pretty accurate stuff to play airsoft, to like try to experience history to the best I can with still being able to shoot guns at people without going to jail. If you're doing it right and you're doing it just to experience history and you're not doing it to be a douchebag, whatever makes you happy.
I was just donated $2 for ruffles. I wouldn't be buying them because they don't agree with me. I do appreciate that shit. And my God, Magana or Majana Company. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, man.
Or Z, or them, or Z. Jonathan Stommer. Oh, and the 40. I actually could buy a 40 for that up in Wisconsin. Yeah, $2. Shit.
Oh, you got another. You got $199.
Shit.
We're making money now, Mike.
What do you think you get a SSH-68 ballistic says? I have to buy an SSH-68 that I don't care about. I want to buy a shitty one. And honestly, I don't know for that one. I would love to do it as much as you would love to see it. And even Devin would love to see it because
that would be great, yeah.
Yeah, but I just have to buy a shitty one. I could not actually bring myself to shoot a good one.
And it's hard to find a really, really shitty one because most of them weren't used in combat. So.
Right, and they're still being stored.
Yeah, Russia still has millions of them, and they're just sitting on them because that's their kind of like, if Russia was ever invaded, they could give one to basically all of their population. So they have a lot of them.
Yep.
Man,
well, of course donations. I want money. That's how I thrive, and
yeah, who doesn't?
That's how I buy guns. And
do I have to like start undoing buttons for money?
What's the most badass gun I've shot before? My opinion, obviously the M2 50 caliber when I was in the Army, like the fucking Modus. That is the most badass fucking gun I've ever shot in my life. Beautiful gun, beautiful fucking piece of machinery.
The most badass gun that I've ever shot, probably the Martini Henry. I really like the Martini Henry.
This is the difference between a Canadian opinion and an American opinion.
Pretty much. No, I don't think you guys need to rate my nips. There hasn't been nearly enough money for that.
I think we have to rate your nips as like a kind of a baseline thing, but I mean, that's fine if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, you can't just show off the goods for free. You got to be properly incentivized. Come on now.
Passchendaele is it's like Pearl Harbor with World War One. 5 minutes of like, oh, cool, and then done.
And everyone thinks it's a big deal because it was the Canadians that were there, but in the end, it was for nothing. The Canadians took Passchendaele just to get pushed back in a counterattack because none of their flanks kept up with the attack. So, favorite bayonet. My favorite bayonet is any bayonet that works good as a knife that isn't super heavy still.
Permanent Mauser for concealed carry. No. I mean, really?
It would be too awkward, and ammo can be kind of
It's
weird.
big. It's fucking dangerous. And ultimately, like, it's just not fun to shoot. Like, it's got big hands.
It's a lot more awkward than people think. So,
yeah. It's the hammer slaps back really hard, and it's a big gun.
Constantly have to be repositioning your grip because there's no beaver tail on it. So every time it recoils, it wants to slide down in your hand, and then you never get the same slide picture again with it. So my three favorite boots for what? PM Makarov for CCW. I know a lot of people who carry a Makarov for their concealed carry.
Okay, you got to know the variant of the Lufschutz's helmet and all that shit. There was about 6 variants of the Lufschutz's helmet.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to know what type it is, the condition, all that shit. So, Nick, I can't give you like an actual number just based on like that. It's like saying, how much is a Ford worth? Well,
whatever somebody's willing to pay for it.
Right. And but it's just very vague. Like there are so many factors that play into what it's actually worth.
Yeah.
Or not worth, So not being a dick, just being realistic. I'm a concealed carry hand grenades. Yeah, go for it. P1 for CCW. If you know the weapon, okay. Yeah. If you know the weapon, you're comfortable with it. All that shit. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Do I have a Hungarian M38 helmet? Not an original one. I have a Finnish updated one.
You're a can't.
My favorite surplus pack. I really like the A-frame pack. Probably the Swedish moose sack pack, the M30, M39. So everyday wear boots. For the most part, I wear a pair of British DMS ammo boots to work pretty much every day, all year. They work pretty well. Do you still believe military surplus? Firearm collecting is still dead? Pretty much, yeah.
Christ, I wish I would release my video that I made tonight before we actually did this call. Because a lot of these questions and like kind of comments or slash are directly related to the video that I'm about to release tomorrow morning.
Well, that's actually kind of awesome foreshadowing, actually.
It's the top 5 surplus guns you should get in 2019.
All right.
And a little bit of what you shouldn't get.
I might have to take you up on some of that information then.
Dang it, Bobby.
If the sanctions on Russia were somehow livid, do you think the Slavshit surplus would become more available? Probably.
If and only if the chickens had large talons.
Yeah. The Alice Pack, I'm not a super big fan of the Alice Pack's frame.
Oh, dude, the Alice Pack, man. I had that bitch. Yeah, it digs into your back. It's a bitch. But,
you
however,
can get different frames for them, and then it's great. But the frame is the downfall of the Alice Pack.
But, however, Pause for dramatic effect. That's son of a bitch. As far as distributing weight and being on the center of your back, if you balance it right and you got to spend some time with it, best rucksack ever. There. Did not
That's
shift,
why it
did
was
not
fielded
fucking
in
calibrate.
such great
Right. The
numbers
new
compared to
rucksack,
everything.
the Gen 2 or Gen 3, whatever the fuck it was, Molly, rucksacks that were like ACU and they were like, or not ACU, but UCP, were like really big and wobbly. Horrific. Alice packs, that's actually what I take camping. Okay. I walk with it through woods to get to where we're going. I walk with an Alice pack, a large one. That is one of the best rucksacks
ever made
that I've experienced. There are several more that are excellent. Okay. That's not the only one that's good. There are horseshit ones that you should definitely avoid.
Exactly.
But you should also take heed to the people that say, this is excellent. You should definitely fucking do it. Devin, are you still alive, bud?
Me? Yeah.
You're fucking dead.
I'm just reading comments is all.
Dude,
Took
you look
my
like you're
helmet off so
fucking
my face shows up a little
Dunkirk
better.
evacuee, and I'm actually wearing the campaign hat. A little too late here, bud, but I'm trying to get you out.
Dunkirk was a joke. The British had never been there. They deserved everything they got there, unfortunately.
Spoken like a true Canadian.
So I'm big as a Canadian, huge fan of the royal family. Absolutely hate the British though.
If I won the UCP Camel Rock, what are some options? The fucking Alice pack.
Yeah, get the Alice
Large
pack.
with frame straps. And yes, you're gonna have to jury rig some fucking padding with 100-mile-an-hour tape and foam rather.
Yep.
You're gonna have to
And
do it.
don't use the standard shoulder straps and kidney belt. Get a different one.
What's funny is they appear to be wide, and you're like, "Oh my god, yes, this is gonna be cake." No,
Yep.
they're about an inch thick, based on
Yep.
the straps they actually designed that bitch off of. The rest of this shit's aesthetic.
One of my favorite rucksacks I use actually is I got a waterproof rucksack, and it's the the APOBS pack, the big molded plastic one that was used to shoot that mortar that had all the rope of grenades tied to it, so it could blow up obstacles, so infantry could go through. I have one of those that's just the pack, and that has an Alice frame on it, and I got different um, pads and stuff like that. And one time I was actually hiking in Minnesota here in the winter, and I got to a hill, and I actually took my pack off and I rode it like a sled down the hill, and it was way better than everyone else having to walk down it because I was smart. What's the name of what, Kill Dude? I shaved the mustache, obviously.
Weirdest I saw overseas. Hey, Mangina, give me $20. Honestly, on the fucking live chat, if you're willing to do that and be that stupid, I'm willing to be that stupid and tell you the weirdest thing I saw overseas.
The pack I
Literally.
mentioned, the APOBS pack stands for Anti-Personnel Obstacle Breaching System pack. Good luck finding one. I've only ever seen two, and I bought one. I bought the large version. They also made a small version. So they don't, by the way, they don't like when you air travel with it because even though I washed it a shit ton of times, when you put it through the little detector, it's fucking covered in explosive residue still. So that was a big red flag at the Minneapolis airport. I also have a video on it, Kill Duty, if you want to go watch it. I have the APOBS pack on my channel if you want to go take a look at it.
Yeah, man, fundraiser. Get that $20 donation.
What are you gonna spend all this money on, Mike? You got almost $4 already.
I'm gonna spend it. I'm actually gonna reinvest this shit in the company. I want to grow this goddamn business, man.
Good idea.
Every fucking $20 works. Mike Rufino wine.
You almost got a $5 box at Taco Bell. You haven't been there in a while.
Not gonna do that, man. I got celiac. Can't do the fucking gluten, man.
Oh.
You get sick. Even though I love Taco Bell, shit, just can't do it.
You just get tons of the meat and rice and shit. You don't need to get
their meat's like fucking sets. Like 3/4 fucking filler. You know that, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Yeah, I love beans. Waffle House. My God, Mangina said it. Waffle House.
Yeah, Waffle House is great.
I want a goddamn steak and I want eggs and bacon. They make it. They don't question it. They do it. And it's amazing every fucking time, consistently, every fucking time. Cool thing is,
we don't have here in the north.
No, exactly. I was just gonna say, literally just gonna say it. Like we don't have it here north and Mason Dixon line.
Yeah,
that pisses me the fuck off.
Dick compared to Waffle House.
Waffle House is amazing. Waffle House, are you drunk? You don't have to be drunk to enjoy Waffle House.
Yeah,
Jesus
Waffle
fucking
House
Christ.
is good any time of day.
Dude, Waffle House is amazing. It's ridiculous. It's like favorite alcohol beverage. So they all taste like shit. Literally, like alcohol tastes like shit. Jimmy Walker Blue Label.
Are we talking like just straight, or like are we talking an actual drink?
Are you shitting me?
You actually did it. Oh fuck.
Okay, all right. I gotta do this.
All right.
Weirdest overseas experience. Best worst overseas experience. Combat engineers or not. All right. Well, we're doing it. Weirdest overseas experience. One time before we got attacked, we got rocketed. I didn't know we were going to be doing this, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
And about 20 minutes before we actually got hit, the female that was attached to us, we were an infantry company, they were attached to us, came up to me and she's like, dude, I don't feel so well. And I'm like, Phil, what's up? And also she just puked, like just like, what the fuck is your deal, man? Like, the fuck? So like after that was done, I was like, God, that was weird. And about like not even 30 minutes later, we got hit with an indirect fire. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God. And so I started thinking like, oh shit, can she sense this shit? You know? Like, I mean, she's probably just like had, something wrong with what she ate. Or I was like really superstitious. I'm like, can she sense when we're gonna get hit? Like, what the fuck?
Hanging out with her all the time after that.
Well, no, I didn't like her. That's the thing, is like we didn't get along, but it was, I still respect her as a human, and whenever she was sick, and I was like, oh, okay. But so that was one of the weirdest things. Like, I'm sorry that didn't like hit your mark, like, as cool, but it was just weird how she just randomly, out of all the days we were there, threw up in front of me, and then about
and
5.
Then you got attacked.
Yeah, we get like hit hard. It's like, what the fuck? Worst officer experience. Oh my God. Kuwait. This had to be. We had an officer. I don't know if I want to give his last name, honestly, because he's still in and everything. But
yeah,
we'll say Lieutenant Tweedledee, right? Great admin officer. Not a good fucking infantry combat arms officer. Worst officer experience. We're in Kuwait, right? We're about to go up to Iraq in a couple weeks, and we're out there training at the ranges and shit. And one day we're on the buses because we're the grunts, and our platoon leader is sitting in the Humvee in front of us, guiding us to the range. Well, if you ever been to Kuwait, there's the pavement. The rest is all just fucking literally sand in the sky.
Just sand
Driving to
dunes,
the
yeah.
ocean. Driving to the ocean, you'd be better off. But okay, so one time we're driving down there to the range, and this is before we get up to Iraq. So our nerves are all, or the new guys like mine are like the nerves are all like just crazy. We're driving on the road, going to the range. All of a sudden, we see the Humvee in front of us go off into the fucking sand. We're not talking like there's no roads, no nothing, just sand out of the side. It's the equivalent of like here driving into the woods or a swamp, you know. And so we see him go, and then the bus driver just fucking follows them because that's what they're told to do in Kuwait. And we're like, oh Jesus Christ! So we're going through this thing. And all of a sudden, he starts turning left back towards the road after about a half a mile, and he keeps going, but the bus is not going any further. So we're stuck, literally out in the middle of the goddamn desert in Kuwait, and we're like, yeah, funny. And the bus driver is like literally trying to get us the fuck out of there to get on the road. Cannot do it. It's like snow up here, right? You're just tires are spinning, and we're like, holy fucking shit, right? Really, really? Okay. So we all get out, and it's hot as fuck. Like we're all wearing body armor and shit because we just got done, get ready for a range. Yeah. By the way, post thing to this whole story, we had to go out and shoot at the range after all this shit happened. So this was fun. No, we're sitting there. We're like, okay, it's fucking hot. It's like 120 degrees, 90% humidity. All right, but let's push this fucking bus out of the sand about 300 yards back to the road that we were just on. Okay. So we started doing that, and oh my God, are we smoked? But it took us about, I don't know, 5, 6, well, no, 3 or 4 hours, not really. 3 or 4 hours to get this fucking bus back onto the goddamn road, just on the road. But the problem is we were done when we left all the water on the bus. So like after we got back on the road, we went into the bus and we broke open the fucking water pallets. We were just like, and it was so dumb. And then we were asking like our platoon leader. We were like, "The fuck are you thinking?" He goes, "Well, that's where the GPS said to go, so we went there, and I might have been a little wrong." I'm like, "Oh God, damn it,
There's one fucking road. How do you mess that up?
dude!" Yeah, literally one fucking road. That was like the dumbest goddamn thing, and I'm glad it happened there. You know, but like seriously, you think about it like going, yeah, in a week we're gonna be up in Iraq with this motherfucker.
Should
And
have fragged it.
he get us between like pavement and sand. Like, come on, man. You know. But so yeah, fucking kill dude. I hope that answered your question. Well, it wasn't Captain Subble. It wasn't a Captain Subble. It was not. He wasn't that big of an asshole. Yeah, he listened to us and all that shit. But when the time came to do shit, he was definitely not fucking qualified. Or here's the thing: he's a great admin officer, fantastic. You would not want anybody better than him as an admin role. As far as a combat arms officer, nope.
No,
And he
he's a
was a
pencil
Mustanger.
pusher.
That's the worst part. He was enlisted for a long time, and then he became an officer. So.
Damn.
Well, Killer Dude's an invite to the Discord. Yeah, absolutely, he does actually. Discord. How about this? But I'm just trying to figure out how to. Well, actually, most people on here right now. All right, how about this? Devin, you included. Get on there.
Perfect. Get on there. Boom. Were you in the invasion of Iraq? That was in like 2003.
No, I was not. No, hell no. No, I was there way later, 2009, 2010.
Do we stream on Twitch? No.
Should I stream on Twitch?
Do you have any like one of a kind tops in your like blouses in your store that have patches on them?
Nope.
Yeah, they're usually pretty good about cutting all that stuff off before it gets surplused out. One minute to Saturday. It's only 11 p.m. Yeah, America was allies with Iraq before America got involved. Basically, America got involved because of stupid indecision on their part.
Oh shit, we are still streaming. Let's call it for the night.
Sure.
I wanted to call it like fucking an hour and a half ago, but like,
yeah, we got tangent. You made some
you got,
money.
You got Discord. You got the link right for Discord.
Yeah, I accepted it.
All right, fair enough. So. We'll see you on there.
Yep.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. See you next time.